And it's live.
Woohoo!
Okay, back to playing Werewolf Dark Ages. And, okay, last time, uh, the very last things that happened on last session were basically that after you were able to sneak past the Bane that you saw in the spirit world there, licking the soil, the ground, and moaning and and mentioning jealous rage with this gleam in its voice as it's licking the soil there. Um, Once you got past that, it's pretty much where we left off. You were walking onward on your way towards the Sept, the center of the werewolf community in this place, and that's you haven't been told that much of what's in store basically when you get there, but it's it's been a hard stride thus far. It's been like this when you first started on this journey with the North Star, who's now weak and unconscious and bloody in your arms as you are carrying her, protecting her from harm and all that. When you first set on this journey, it all seemed very exciting and new and interesting and all that sort of thing. But almost like in this immediate, just smack in the face, everything seemed to take a violent turn. Everything became all of a sudden about surviving and protecting one another and finding guidance from the spirit that you're with here and all this sort of stuff and the stuff that you've run into in this spirit world thus far in this Velvet Shadow has been at the same time there's been lots of positive life cherishing and reinforcing elements to it that have been very interesting to you and very much like this force that makes you feel kinship with the world around you and that sort of thing. But at the same time, almost all of the violent things outside the spirit world almost seem twice as grotesque and brutal inside it because of the reflection it has, with the way the Bane creature was acting and wailing. It was a clear reflection in your mind about what's going on in the physical world, in the sense where an evil spirit finds joy and gleams in like total enjoyment and pleasure. It pretty much gives the mental image of things not being that nice around it in the physical world that it's reflecting. While you've been striding here through the spirit world, the spirit of the cuckoo bird has been guiding you along, and you indeed have been carrying the motionless body, well, unconscious and bloodied up body of North Star, the werewolf who found you and has been tutoring and teaching you all the way thus far. What sort of things have been going through your character's mind as she's been striding through the spirit world and with all this happening around her?
She is very much coping and trying to cope with this entire new kind of world that she is in, and still not fully comprehending what is happening to her. She has the feeling at this point still that she is in a strange, different forest, which North Star led her to, and is still unclear that she is in a parallel like world, and still not very completely comprehending that this cuckoo bird is actually the spirit of these birds, of this bird, and she just believes that because she now is a guru, she is actually able to talk to other kinds of animals, or at least understand them better than she did before. And her mind is just as it always has been, more or less. But her mind has always been relatively open to new things. But now it's just like, I'm just taking it as it is, and she trusts in North Star to make sense of everything, and to at this point there are no boundaries. If somebody told her, okay, now jump up and fly around the world, she would say, okay, she would start jumping and try to fly around the world, and just like, okay, if somebody says I can do that, then I can probably do that. And she's hoping that once she meets the other werewolves, that they will actually give her some boundaries of, okay, this is where what we do, this is where we function in, and these are our abilities, and so she can make sense of things.
Yeah. While you've been striding there and in the woods, all of these kind of feelings and things that you're kind of running through your head has kind of there's been almost this air of silence for a little bit, where you see the cuckoo bird spirit fly a little bit ahead of you, above you, type of thing, and there's just this moment of where you feel like you hear your steps, and you hear all the shrubs waving in the wind and all that sort of stuff much sharper, because you're not like talking to each other at this moment specifically. But as you're walking forward there, the cuckoo bird kind of looks behind itself at you, and it kind of comes and flies a little bit of a circle around you, and then starts flying very close to you, not like scouting ahead, but being there basically beside you, and and he turns his head towards you and says, "How is she doing?"
I'll look down on her, and I'm not really sure. She doesn't seem to worsen, but she should be dead by now.
Yes, well, the balance between life and death is a very peculiar one. I suppose she has told you something about the harmony of life and death in nature.
Some things, yes.
Mm. There are certain imageries, certain images and visualizations in our mind's eye about these things. You see, just as I am a representation of an entire species of animal here, there is a representation of an entire force of nature and of life and of death, of course. Like,
What do you mean?
hmm?
What do you mean? A representation of all birds?
Mm, have you ever successfully talked to a cuckoo bird before? Hmm?
No, but I'm a guru now.
Mm. Well, see, a guru is something of the physical and of the spiritual. You are a unique creature, unlike any other. You walk the paths of this velvet shadow that we're walking in right now, as well as the physical. I cannot enter the physical. And the regular cuckoo birds that you come across that do not speak back to you, they cannot enter the spirit. I am their representation. I am their shadow. I am the cuckoo bird. So, in the same way, when you see someone or
So
something,
there are no other cuckoo spirits besides you?
there are some variations, but for the common one of these woods, I am the one to come to.
All right.
Some of us are weaker than others. The weaker we are, the more abundant we are. You may find multiple spirits that are similar to me, but when you wish to find out things that I am able to do, show, tell, you come to me. I am the one who is familiar with North Star and yourself now. So, whenever you feel like it, you are free to call on to me for help of any kind that I can provide, really. Because a good relationship with a guru is something to be treasured. You are unique creatures in the end.
So you are not a real bird.
Not really, no more than, well, no more than that Bane that we ran across has no physical form in the physical world outside these woods that we've been in now. It's simply a representation, a reflection. When you see your own shadow, you can make things look different. You can pull up a stick and place it behind you, and on your shadow it may look as if it's growing from your head, for example. That is only a shadow. It is not real. It is not. It is simply a form made of light in the physical realm. But in here, that is something tangible, like I am, and same as the moon, Luna, above us that you've seen when you called to me. It is not the same as the moon you've seen before in the physical world, but the moon you see here, the Luna you see here, is a representation of her power and influence, of her role in this cosmic circle of life that we live in. This difference between the physical world and the spirit world, the Umbra as we call it, is your most sacred duty. You are the guardians of the balance between physical and spiritual. So you best come very familiar with this world that we're in right now.
I like that.
There is much to be learned from this place, and it's something that shapes form quite radically. The physical world shapes its form as well. Trees fall, lakes dry up, forest fires take out entire patches of the woods in one fell swoop. Things change in the physical world. But in here, it's rather different. When things change in the physical world that do not have physical representations, they have form here. because that is their shadow, that is their reflection. When when there is death, when there is disease, when there is pestilence, when there is greed, jealousy, rage, murder, when there is life, birth, joy, love, parenthood, when there is all of these untangible things in the physical, they have a very tangible presence here in the spiritual. And since you are of both spirit and flesh, you are the only ones who walk between those two worlds, and thus you have a unique perspective into how the cosmos works, and therefore you are the only ones who can truly guard it.
Wow.
As you saw with that Bane, it is attracted to those kinds of untangible negative aspects of the physical world that manifest in the spiritual world. It was calling out to jealous rage. So I can only imagine what this area would look like in the physical world. I imagine death and pain and hardship all done in the name of jealous rage. These kinds of things attract wicked spirits like Banes to them.
How are Banes born?
That is unknown to me at this point. In my existence thus far, I have found myself never daring to delve into the depths of the spirit world in which such questions would be answered. They are full of danger.
When I saw it, even though I know I needed to protect North Star, I felt this urge to attack it.
It is only natural, because Banes are exactly what endangers the balance between the spirit and the physical, and of life and death, because they are of death and they are of darkness. The forces that that North Star has spoken to you of, the harmony of nature, of life and death, how when something dies, it provides life. When someone dies, insects, ants, wolves, and foxes and crows come and peck at the corpse. A death provides life. And when an old wolf dies, a young pup is born. There is a balance in the harmony of nature. The representations of those extreme ends have been given visual images for us. We call that force which creates life wild. We call the force that dismantles life worm, and the balance that keeps those two from taking over each other, the weaver. As a spider weaves a web, it has perfect symmetry, it has perfect form, function, utility. When you have that for life and death, everything seems to hold up a nice harmony. If there was no harmony, if there was no balance, and there would be an overabundance of creation, since life is a positive force in our eyes, of course, it would choke up the world. If there was no death but purely life and creation, it would choke everything up. And on the other side, if there was an overabundance of death, then everything would plague and die out and leave nothing but a carcass of a world. Thus those two forces must work together. The Bane we saw is a spirit of death, and it feasts on these negative, destructive, dismantling forces. That is why when you see something in the spirit world, you must remind yourself it is a reflection. When you see a Bane licking the soil in abject bliss, reciting jealous rage, it is easy to conclude that in the physical, most likely someone has been dealt death out of jealous rage. That is something. Things are not revealed to your eyes in the physical world every time, so you must travel to the spirit world to make sense of what your eyes cannot see in the physical.
Are there the opposite of Banes?
Yes, you.
Oh.
The Banes are the opposite of the Garou, because the Garou are the children of Gaia. Gaia is one of the most powerful spirits in the entire cosmos, a spirit that I have yet never ever to encounter. I have only encountered those who serve its servants and whose masters are also her servants. There is a strong hierarchy in the cosmos when it comes to these forces. Gaia is the one that gives form to living beings. Everything that has form is Gaia taking the energy and the surges of life that flows from a wild and forming it in its own grasp. And you are her chosen children. You are her champions. You are the guardians of this balance. And that is a sacred duty. That is a duty that you can never overlook.
So Gaia is the alpha.
Gaia is the alpha of all life. Praise be unto her.
Where do we stand in the hierarchy?
Quite high. Higher than any of your cousins in the natural kingdom of wolves or of humans. When it comes to the hierarchy, I could say that you are even above me because you are Gaia's chosen. But that does not mean I owe automatic allegiance to you or others like me. We work together, but we understand each other's duties. Your duty simply is much more crucial to our entire existence and sustaining that existence.
What is your duty?
Because
What is your duty?
I am one of the guardians of the woods. I keep many things in check. And
Like what?
I have many supplicants under me working for me. I keep an eye on many facets of the natural world. Some, like you heard heard the cries of the other birds when you summoned me. I am not one of the most popular spirits in these woods, but that popularity doesn't mean that I do not serve a purpose. It is simply because my purpose is that of masking myself. My purpose is attaining, teaching, passing on the abilities of stealth, of camouflage, of subterfuge, of masquerade, of holding a veil in front of others' eyes. That is how me and my kind survive. That is how our young are able to be born. That is how everything around our lives works. In the woods, my abilities can sometimes often mean the difference between life and death. And in your case, it has also played a little part. And when is about to say that that it has played a part in your survival, at that moment it cuts off into you stepping into a puddle, and it's like you've been so concentrated in this conversation that you've had with the cuckoo bird spirit that you haven't really noticed, except right now you step into a puddle like only ankle deep, but it's this muddy puddle, this liquid there. I won't call it water because when you step in it, it emits this kind of sulfuric open sewer type of stench. This kind of, I wouldn't drink that type of stench, and it kind of stings a bit on your foot when you step into it. Not in this way that you're being stung by a stinger or anything like that, but in this acidic way. It's like a sulfuric liquid there that you step into, and it's very muddy. This kind of gray mud that you stepped into in there.
I quickly pull my leg out and rub it on the ground so that the mud gets off of it as best as I can.
Yeah. As you're doing that, it kind of, when the foot gets out, it's kind of like this, and it like you can easily get it off of your foot, but that like immediately cut the conversation short because as well as you, the cuckoo bird also looks at the ground in this kind of with this focused look, and you see that the ground, there's not just this one puddle, but this was just the first that you stepped into. You see all of a sudden that when you pay attention to the ground around you, it started to kind of turn into this muddy swamp-like ground. And it's all this dank and smelly, and like all around the soil around these trees, there's like this light mist that comes off of it, and it gives you a bad vibe all together, really.
Where are we? What is this place?
Like I said, the reflections sometimes happen quite quickly. Last I was here, this was not this way. Something must have happened in the physical world to shape it, to give it this kind of a reflection. But I wonder what.
I look around and I better be careful.
Let's keep our eyes and ears open. I enjoy our conversations, but this seems rather serious.
We better be quiet.
We are not far from the garden that we're going into. Where?
What? But I thought that was a sacred place.
Yes, it is the centerpiece where the veil between this velvet shadow, this umbra, this spirit world, and the physical is the thinnest. It is a place where both in the physical and the spiritual world we feel a stronger connection to the entire mixture of those two worlds. It is a sacred place indeed. It's a total sanctuary.
How could this happen so close to such a sacred place?
That is what concerns me as well. We better press on.
I hold North Star a bit closer to me, more protectively, and my ears go up, and I'm in a full alert mode now.
Yeah. Well, as you're moving forward there, after a little while of this kind of dank, swamp-like place, you start to hear it's quite distance away. It's like far, far away, so that you don't need to feel like going behind a tree or something. But you do hear the faint uh, faint noises of that same kind of wailing that the Bane did earlier, somewhere like in your right or in your left as well, but far away, like 500 meters away type of thing, where you can clearly make it out, but that it is lurking in there somewhere.
I'll notice that my gums start to roll up a bit, and there's this light growl in the back of my throat.
Yeah. As you get move onward with this kind of even more trying to be like ready and secure, you find your neck and like your shoulder area really clenched, like you're really like your neck hairs are like erect a bit, and you're like you said about your gums and your lips rolling up. It's you find yourself in this kind of a pumped up state of mind where you're readying yourself mentally for a fight. After a little while, you notice that hey, there's the tree line, and like the cuckoo bird spirit told you earlier, the Gaia and the Sept leader's headquarters, if you like, is an island in the middle of a lake. So seeing the tree line gives you lots of like hope, like we're almost there type of thing.
I try to get to the tree line, but I'm not sure how successful I am, but I'll try to restrain myself to not like, ooh, the tree line, and I'll hurry over there. So I'll still be like carefully walking in that direction to try to get there.
Okay. Well, you're doing your best to like restrain yourself, but you can't help but get that glee of excitement in your eye. And yeah, you do get to the tree line, but once you get there, the scene that opens up to your eyes is like, first you notice that, hey, there's the lake, hey, there's the island, but immediately like after that you notice that the area surrounding basically the shore of the lake, it's like the ground is cracked like in a dry desert, and there's like this muddy sulfuric like pussy thing. The trees are like oozing this this liquid out of them, and there's like roots are protruding from the ground, and they're like full of this slimy type of mud. Doesn't look like natural mud. It looks like, how when a food gets really like molded, there's this kind of skin of this transparent, this.
Okay, I get it. Yes. It's gross.
But yeah, it's like this place looks like a total like it looks like it's from Mordor or something like that. It's like it looks like doubly as horrible as the just the swampy ground earlier. It just looks like it's getting worse as you're getting toward it, and you see that the cuckoo bird looks really concerned. It's looking around frantically and trying, and it's like it really looks like it's anxious.
Are you sure this is where we need to go?
Yes. You see from the island, by the way, that the island is like it's like sticking out. It's like this hill of an island. It has like a tree line that looks almost like a crest on it, and there's these bright white streamers kind of coming to the night sky there, or it's the umbra, so it pretty much looks like a night sky with the giant moon there and the stars and all that. But there's like these white glowing streamer, like like ribbon type streams coming from the middle of the island upwards and spreading out into the sky. And the cuckoo bird looks around you and is like, we must get out of this place, or rather you must get out of this place. It's not safe. And at that point, you see that a little, like 100 or 200 meters away in the tree line, you can see that from the tree line there comes out one of those banes, and it looks very similar to the one that you saw before with the same kind of descriptions and the chaotic movement and all that. And it just, it sticks its head out from the tree line and it comes just out and it's just and it's like sniffing the air clearly, and it's you can see from its movement. And as soon as you see that, you see another one a little further back from him, and it's like it looks really bad. And
I pretty much look at the lake, or try to like choose the path of least resistance, to like hop over it and jump over it and just get moving.
Okay. The once you get to the water, you see that on the shoreline, you see that the the water protrudes away from you in order to create almost like a wave-like wall in front of your face. Like it's like it goes back to open up, and when it gets into this erect pillar-like wave, you see that the inside of the wave is filled with these protruding shapes from its side of these faces that are wailing in pain, just this kind of screaming and this kind of, and it goes forward and splashes at you, clearly like attempting to push you away. And the cuckoo bird looks at you and is like, we must not draw attention to ourselves. I will draw the attention of those two banes away from here. You get back to the physical realm.
How?
Damnation! If you haven't been taught this yet, look into your reflection. See your reflection on the surface of the water, and through your reflection you will see the physical world, and you will step sideways into it. Now go! I will hold them back. And without going into further detail than that, you see that the cuckoo bird flies away from you toward the two banes, and you see that the bird shape that it's in all of a sudden takes on a new set of color, the same way that it shaped you, and it made its own feathers like constantly protrude and go inward with different colors. All of a sudden, it changes its color into this gray color with these fake, like, bright eyes coming into some of these feathers. Like some paradise birds have these bright fake eyes, kind of in their feathers. And after a little while, you see that the bird looks exactly like a werewolf head, and out of its wings and its stomach, it protrudes out these streams, these kind of like what is that bird called? What are those birds called with the huge tails who just walk around in zoos and like yeah, exactly like that. It protrudes those kind of feathers that almost take this strange, constantly shaping look of a moving body. Basically, it's moving them like it looks like there's legs and a body attached to that head that it's mimicking, and it's flying towards the banes, and the banes immediately see it and start following it, and it just flies into the back into the woods, and you see the two banes just go after it into the woods, and you see that now it's like now you have like this moment where most of the danger is subsided a little bit.
All right, I'll follow the instructions of this this clearly knowledgeable spirit, and I'll look into a reflective area and kind of make use of the fact that my mind is so open and so curious that I just look at it and just stare at it and try to realize that the reflection that I'm seeing is actually me, and because everything here is a reflection, so it's just like I'm here, but I'm actually also there, so it's just a matter of coming from here to there, and it should be easy. So I just stare at myself and kind of try to continuously run this through my head, like, okay, I need to be there instead of here.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what you can do. But when you go to look at the water, you see that it's completely like matte colored. It doesn't have any reflective surface on it at all. It's completely like almost like it's somehow, either camouflaging itself or it's something has happened to it or something like that. You've never seen matte colored water before. It's not reflective at all. It looks like it's been spray painted with like matte black or something like that. And it moves like, as you go closer to try and see your reflection, it moves in this very aggressive way. Last time it like tried to push you away. As you like proceed to get near it, you see that the surface is like creating these. Water is almost like when a droplet of water comes. There's this like this erect spike-like tail to it. It erects those kind of it looks like almost like a hedgehog or something like that is like letting its spikes be erect type of thing. It clearly, the water itself is clearly trying to like push you away.
No problem. I still have that that blade, right, that I got from the other guy. So that's probably reflexive, right? It's made out of silver, I'm assuming.
Yeah, but it's also it's been chiseled in such many there is no like smooth mirror-like surface on it like you would have in like like some machete or a big Bowie knife or something like that. It's like a bone that's been just hammered with a stone type of thing. So it's something where you can see just your own colors and that sort of thing. But as you try to look at your own reflection on it, it's something that you feel like that you really need to use the utmost of your imagination to try and make out yourself in that.
No problem. I've got more alternatives. I'll kind of shake North Star, and I'll tell her to North Star, open your eyes.
That's a good one. She's still like, oh, and she does creak her eyes open a little bit.
I stare into her eyes.
It's the moonlight is very bright, so her eyes have a very strong reflective surface on it. When you first look into her eyes, you see like your silhouette, and it's kind of funny that you see your own silhouette with the buck head with the horns and all that. It's like something you haven't like seen in a reflection before this. But when you look into her eyes, it's like she isn't like she can't like mutter a sentence out easily. It's like she's her jaw is kind of just stuttering, and she's just letting out a little whine there. But when you look,
you just skipped out. Her jaw was like, and then you froze.
Oh, her jaw is like vibrating, like she can't form sentences at the moment. She's just like this type of wailing and a little whimpering there.
No need. She doesn't need to talk. I'll just turn her towards the moon, and I'll look into her eyes.
Yeah, it's you see your own reflection there, but at the same time, it's like you look so deep into her eyes when you're doing this with such concentration. You feel like this. You feel like not only being successfully able to see your own reflection in it. It's like um, you see into her being on a certain level. You feel like you share a very strong kingship with her in this sort of how you've protected her and this sort of thing. You feel like this uh, this kind of brotherly, sisterly sort of connection to North Star, where you really feel like not only like that you've been around her and you've talked with her and that sort of thing. It's almost like looking this deep into her eyes and using her eyes to pass the veil between spirit and physical is something where you find a sort of imprint on her. You find like you feel like you know her mind, like you know her heart type of thing. You feel like you've not only like looked at your reflection on a reflective surface, you feel like you've looked into her eye enough so where you've basically looked into her being, and there reflecting back to you, is the image of yourself. You look into her eye, and in her eye you see yourself. And when you kind of find this, sort of, uh, you feel this thing unlock inside your heart when you do that, in your mind, and it's almost like this, how people use the analogy of third eye opening type of thing. It doesn't. It's like this. It's this whole other level of understanding life, sort of thing, when you look into her that deeply. And when you do that, you do see that that you kind of lose your footing. You kind of lose your footing a little bit, and in all of that stuff that you kind of get from looking into her eyes and to the reflection makes you kind of fall forward. And as you fall forward, you hit the water of the lake that splashes around you. This, as you hit it, it just, and it's not just like matte-colored water splashing around you. It's an entire reality splashing. It's like a painting or a picture of a landscape splashing, all over under your body as you fall with North Star there. And in your reflection, you also saw something you didn't see before, which was that you saw North Star's paw mark on the forehead of the buckhead that you have on your head, when she pressed it with her paw when she first was gaining conscious a little bit earlier. As you splash into the water, you hear this sound, this thing that sounds like a record being played backwards, but that makes words be the right way. If it sounds like somebody recorded a message backwards, and then you're playing it backwards to hear it the right way, in this weird way, kind of like in Twin Peaks. But when that happens, you hear this voice that you immediately understand to be the spirit of the lake that you've splashed into, and you hear these kind of these kind of infidel defilers. You are soiling my being with your jealous rage. And you hear this kind of, make it right, Garu type of thing going around you. And then you feel that your consciousness kind of, you gain your senses, and you get the sense that you're underwater, like water is getting into your nostrils and stuff. And you open your eyes underwater, and you see that there's a head of a dead wolf right in front of you, like floating in the water, like its eyes crooked and blood coming out of its orifices, and it's just this corpse there in front of you. It's this like bubbles coming out of mouth type of thing in movies. But yeah, that's what happens. You immediately, when you gain consciousness in the physical world, you see that you're underwater with a corpse right in front of you.
I get up, or try to get up, and still holding North Star to my chest, making sure we both come above water, and gasp for air as I come up and check on North Star if she's breathing as well.
Yeah, your hair kind of goes like in a shampoo commercial, with the water spurting out, and you see that North Star is there in front of you, and she's kind of shaking a little bit, but her eyes are open, and she's like coughing, and she's like, "Did we make it? Did we make it?"
I think we're almost there.
And after you've seen that she is conscious, you look around you, and you get instant confirmation of why the spirit world was the way it was. You see corpses floating in the water in the tens in numbers. You see human corpses, you see wolf corpses just floating in the water with just blood like colored like smears in the water surface. The evening sun is or the sun is like setting, and there's a strong reflection on the lake's surface, but it's like this glimmering, nice-looking reflection, the surface, that sort of thing, but it's littered with death. And when you look into the shore, there's like bodies that have washed on the shore that are half on the shore and half in the water, and they're riddled with like scars, and they have like tassels tied to their arms, and they have like patterns made into their flesh with like scars, and they have like, some of them have like clear weapons like the dagger you have next to them, or stuck in the backs or necks of them, and where you saw the two Banes come out of the woods, you see that there is a pile of like 5 corpses of wolves and of men, and there's like a long sword like being stuck on top of that pile, so they're like stuck like piles of hay in this kind of a spike there, and it's just a completely grotesque and like almost like after the sort of things that you've learned about the harmony of life and death and stuff, this feels almost like perverted, what you're seeing in front of you.
Yeah, I'm looking around and horrified by all this, and I'm pressing North Star against me to protect her from this visage, this visage, and I'm just, everything that I've learned to until now is being spit on and pissed on and shitted on as I'm standing here, and I have no idea what to do, and just stand there in uh, well, fear and uh, helplessness, as in like how can this happen with what's supposed to be the center point of our society? So I then turn to the lake and look at the island and just set my mind to that. I need to get there. I need to get answers. I need to know what's going on, and I need to at least try to help and make things right. What's going wrong here?
Okay. Uh, in the physical world, there are no streams coming protruding from the top of that island. It was only in the spirit world. You don't know what they really were at this point yet, but still, it's another thing that you saw in the spirit world that's not here in the physical. And uh, once you start to go into the water, you see that the water reacts like normal water. It doesn't like uh, give you like any like hostile reactions or anything like that. It just acts like a physical normal water does. And
Well, she'll probably will run her hand through the water and murmur that she's sorry and she'll do her best to make things right.
you see, after as you say that, you see that on one of the stones or rocks on the shore, there's a frog that's sitting there, and it's looking straight into your eyes, basically, as you say that, and the you see that the frog looks at you straight, and then it kind of turns its head, and then just jumps out of it. Like you almost feel like the lake's kind the thing that's the spirit that spoke to you is keeping an eye on you type of thing.
I'll head towards the island. Depending on my skill, how deep is the water?
Well, it's a legit lake. It's actually a quite large lake. It's the distance to the island would be well, it's something that only like a legit sports swimmer would take on of swimming from this shore to the island. Everybody else would just take a motorboat. So it's like the distance is something like oh, what would I say? I'm really bad at at imagining accurate distances, but it's yeah, it's far away where you'll have to reserve your strength, even though of course you're a werewolf, but still it's like something where you have to pace yourself when you swim there.
I'll I'll try to swim over there again, making trying to make North Star as comfortable as possible. Clearly, placing her comfort and her safety above my own ease. So if it means that I have to swim in a more uncomfortable position or sorts, I will.
Okay, you're still as you arrived here, you're still in your werewolf, your man wolf form, where you're 9 feet tall, you have arms, you have legs, and all these things. Do you plan on swimming in that form, or do you try to? I guess you've never swam with arms. Is what
That's my point. That's why I mentioned according to my skill. I don't know if this comes as natural to me as a dog swimming. I'm assuming not, because for humans also it's a skill that you need to learn to be able to do it. So I might even change back into my is it called hippo form?
yeah, the giant wolf
Yeah,
form.
the
Yeah.
giant wolf, and kind of probably. Oh, that's poetic. I will use the buck thing that I got from her to kind of more or less place her on my back. Maybe even asking her to like climb on it or hold on to it, because I'm not sure how I'm physically gonna, as a wolf, getting her on there. But hopefully she'll have the strength to climb onto it and at least between the horns hold herself above the water. And I'll start to paddle towards the island.
Okay. That works out perfectly, and she is able to grab onto that. You paddling there, and your the shape-shifting, by the way, it's something that you've like before when you've seen it happen and all that. It has been almost instinctual every time. The first time you shape-shifted forms with into the giant wolf form was when you were running, and that it almost came on its own. You changed into your regular wolf form back in your sleep, and you changed into this form when you frenzied, when your rage overtook you. So this is the first time that you've shapeshifted willingly and knowingly and purposefully, you know.
Do I manage?
Hmm?
Do I manage?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, it's something that you've, when you've seen North Star shape shift, you've kind of, it's kind of boggled you a bit because it's like, okay, what sort of mental gymnastics do I need to do to have this happen actually? But after stepping sideways, after summoning the cuckoo bird spirit, after evading Banes, and after learning about all this stuff, it's almost like this type of thing where it's like, oh, I guess it was almost nothing. You know, it's like it's perhaps because after looking so deep into North Star's eyes, you kind of unlocked something in your own understanding of what this kind of whole thing is that you're in. Perhaps that made it easy where it's like you said before, that you just believe it, that you can do. It's like free your mind, and you can just shapeshift. It's I keep making movie references, kind of like in The Matrix, you know. So yeah, I could actually make perhaps a list of all the movies TV shows I've been referencing throughout this entire prelude. Twin Peaks, Matrix, and whatever the
things to watch to understand this YouTube broadcast.
Well, at least I'm not claiming they're entirely my ideas.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, the shapeshifting comes out very naturally. It feels very much like it's like once you've learned to walk, it's like oh, okay, this is like how it's done, and it's no bigger deal really than that. It comes completely naturally. You just feel your knees bend, and you feel your upper body kind of fall onwards to your hands, and when they fall onto their hands, they're already paws and type of thing. It feels like just flexing your muscles and moving your shoulders and back around, that sort of thing. It feels really natural, and it takes about 3 seconds to turn from the complete werewolf, the Krynos form, into this giant wolf Hispa form. With all the other forms, you know, you have to go through this entire thing. If you want to change from a wolf into a human, you have to first change into the giant wolf, then to the werewolf, then into the wolf man, and then to the man. You know, but because the werewolf form and the giant wolf form are right next to each other, it just takes you like 3 seconds to shapeshift into that form. And once you've gotten that down, yeah, just like you described about the buckhorns and getting North Star on your back, she still feels frail and weak. It's because she's in her natural form and you're in these giant werewolf forms. You know, she almost feels like a puppy to you, you know, in that sense. She's so light and so like in need of nurture and caretaking from you. It's almost like this role that you've taken on.
In my mind, it'll be it'll have something beautiful, because, well, where I was lost, she found me and looked after me, and now she is hurt and, well, not really lost, but fragile, and now I'm looking after her. So that's exactly what my character believes is the essence of what it is to be guru. To look after each other and to assist each other in times of need.
Yeah, definitely. And with her teaching you the first things about uh, the human side of yourself, making you the buckhead, and pressing her paw there when she was in need of your help, and then you seeing your reflection from her eye and all that. There's this, you feel this very strong kinship with her at this point, and even more because of that. Seeing the lake as you're paddling forward just seems grotesque and perverse as you're seeing it. And as you're paddling there, you pass up one of the corpses there. It's kind of close as you go in a straight line. It's not close enough where it's like touching you or anything, or not even you're not even touching the water that's red around it. It's just that it kind of goes kind of close. And after you've passed that, you hear this whispering from your back from North Star as she's like she's kind of she's almost sobbing, and she's just saying, "I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry."
It's all right. It's all right. We'll be okay. Just hang on.
No, no, I couldn't protect you. I'm sorry. I couldn't look after you after all. I'm sorry. Please forgive me.
You're forgiven. It's okay. I'm all right. It's all right. Well, just hang on. We'll be there soon.
You can feel her like pressing her head into your back, and you can feel her body kind of shaking and um, kind of jittering, and this kind of you can feel, you don't necessarily hear her sob, but you know how the body will you know move and puff and that sort of thing when somebody's sobbing. It's even though she's a wolf, it's she's still part human, so it's it's the way she reacts, and you immediately kind of recognize that.
While I'm swimming there and feeling her cry and apologize and that sort of stuff, um, my mind will probably take the ball and run with it, because probably while I'm paddling there at first through these bodies and things floating around me, and probably the more I get into the lake, the less bodies I'll come up. And if not, please let me know. And the water will become somewhat clearer and stuff. I'll be in deep thought, and my mind will be more or less using this time to process what's going on, and everything that has been said to me. I'll be holding more or less mentally in my head and going like, okay, yeah, this makes sense. I'll place this here, and this makes sense, and I'll place this there, and I will try to very consciously make decisions about how I will try to feel and deal with the emotions that have been more or less shooted at me, and the words that the cuckoo said to me, that something that doesn't have a tangible presence in our own reality has a presence in the Umbra, and this translates to me as your fears and your thoughts and your intentions are also feed the things that are in the Umbra and give them either strength or to side B or side A. So I will very consciously decide, like, okay, this is a bad situation that we're in, and but it's not a hopeless situation. And when she was on the beach or on the lakeside, she was like, oh my God, there's nothing we can do here. Look at all this destruction and that sort of stuff. But then she'll be like, okay, no, we are the guardians of this place, and just like North Star, where I thought like, okay, she's gonna die, this is over. She's thinking like, no, this is not the end. This is just a place where we can work from and make things better. And it'll be perhaps have some scars, but it'll be better. And this is not something that we go like, oh well, fuck it, we'll just go somewhere else and leave it be. And very consciously also try to speak if North Star says anything, try to make her understand that feeling sorry and feeling pity and guilt for what she's done only feeds that what we try to fight and hold up against, because there's no need for her to feel that way, because I'm all right and everything's okay and we're gonna make this better. And by feeling angry and sad at her for herself, she'll only be strengthening what we try to defeat.
Exactly. That's exactly right. As you are putting all that stuff together in your mind, and that's very very well put of what sort of stuff is going through her mind, as well as when you're replying to North Star there. You keep on paddling, and I need to take a bathroom break.
All right.
Entertain the people!
Green iced tea. Yummy. I was wondering, by the way, if people are actually watching this live and if they can, like, reply to it. So let me check if anybody is watching this and to see if they can, like, reply to it or something. Let me see. My subscriptions. Oh, Werewolf Dark Ages. Oh, here's Prelude 3 live playing. 3 watching. Oh my God. Let me check. Alright. Is there any replies? Loading. It already has 2 likes. Woohoo! Jonas deserves to have 2 likes. He deserves to have more likes, but well. There we go. Oh man, he's already coming back.
Interrupted some point you were going after.
No, I'm going to YouTube to check if to watch our own stream to see if there's any replies, because you already have 2 likes.
Yay!
Woohoo!
Well,
somebody's watching.
We like that. We like getting liked.
Pontus Wellen is watching.
Sure,
I'm watching live.
there is a possibility of using like a chat box live, and that sort of stuff. It really distracts me, so I'm not going to be checking that out.
We appreciate you guys watching, but it distracts to like constantly be typing you guys back.
Yeah.
All right, but you're back.
Okay, so let's just continue where we left off. As you're paddling there in the water with all this going on, you start to hear this noise from the island. And water carries sound very strongly, so it's still a little bit away. But you start to hear this voice, this sound, and well, I can describe it to you, but your character has never really heard drumming. but that's what it is. You hear this kind of this kind of primeval caveman-like type of drumming. This it feels like there's something going on in the island. It feels like whatever is making this sound is an object. It's not like some creature making that sound or something like that. You feel that someone is banging on something to make that sound on purpose. And you kind of get the feeling of what sort of purpose a drum usually incites in people. So it's most likely something to pump people up or celebrate or something of that sort that's going on. So you do hear that, and you see at the same time when the drumming starts, you notice that a lot of birds from the trees from the shore start to fly towards the island. You see that the air is filled with like entire like slews of birds. Just this, you hear this flapping and this as the drumming is kind of inviting them almost to the island. And you see that all around, like different species of birds, different colors, different sizes, eagles, and well, not eagles, perhaps hawks, and smaller birds and cuckoo birds as well, coming to the towards the island. And you really feel like, yeah, there's something's like inviting them there, and you keep on paddling, and it doesn't take that long, and there's really nothing eventful happening as you get closer. Apart from the sound getting stronger, you're getting closer to this drumming there that's very loud, and the shore of the island comes in front of you basically, and you're at the same time, because you're a werewolf and you have such a good metabolism and you have such a good healing factor and all that. You're not that poofed out, but at the same time you do feel like you just swam a very long distance.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're there on the shore. You see that the hill rises in front of you, and you see the tree line there, almost like a. They're so close to each other that they form almost like a wall. That you see like holes between them where you could like squeeze easily through, but it's still like from a distance it completely blocks visibility type of thing. It's completely like this wall of these very tall pine trees and such.
Am I right in assuming that from this vantage point, I might as well the entire island might as well be trees?
No, not really, because it's just this kind of a crest. So
how do I see that's the crest?
Oh, yeah. You don't know if there's trees behind those trees.
Yeah, exactly.
But before them, there are none. So there's some distance of hill to be climbed that's just full of rocks and grass and stuff before you get to the tree line.
All right, I will climb onto the shore, and I will carefully place my either right or left. It doesn't really matter to her. Paw onto the shoreline, and I will more or less speak like, "Thank you for being here, and thank you for allowing me to come ashore, and I will do what is right to make I will do what I can to make your neighbor or your friend right again." And I'll kind of more or less slowly tilt North Star off of me, and I'll mindfully and change back into this crenal shape to carefully pick her up again.
Yeah.
And
as she got to the ground, you see that her front legs are already like she's really like trying to straighten them and stretch herself a little bit, but her back legs are still like really like she can't go to. She tries to get to a standing position, but her back legs are like shaking still, so she can't really manage it.
So I'll carefully pick her up, and we're here. It's going to be all right.
It's drumming.
The birds are coming here. I think they might be talking, or they'll try to end this.
Yes, it sounds promising enough. It could, however, end in a bad way. Can't be sure. We must get there quickly to see what's happening.
I'll pick her up carefully and hold her, and hold her quite steady against my chest, and I'll go for a trot into the direction of where the drums are coming from.
Okay. So basically, you go towards the tree line,
Yeah.
and the drumming is getting stronger and stronger. And as
wait! Pull it back. I'm not sure if, but she'll for safety reasons, I will present myself.
Oh, okay.
Because I don't know if this is a new territory or something. Just to be safe and just to be polite, I'll present myself.
Okay. So as you got to the shore and grabbed North Star, you will then give a howl.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Well, you do that, and you almost feel like your howl gets kind of buried underneath the drumming. It feels like almost like this that the drumming doesn't change its pace at all due to your howl, and you don't see any like reaction in anywhere. But it's good to be secure with that. But you feel almost like it's whatever is going on
like
is. It's whatever is going on takes precedence so much that it's almost like nobody doesn't even listen to somebody howling at this point.
Fair enough, but then nobody can say that I didn't. So I'll try. I'll go for a trot.
Okay. As you go to the tree line, it's even in your Krynos form, it's quite easy to squeeze through. You just have to take kind of side steps and that sort of thing. So there's only 3 lines of trees there, and they're very close to one another. But it's almost like just a wall of trees and not an actual forest type of thing. But once you get past those trees, immediately when you get past them, this scene opens up to you. Where you see that right after the tree line, the hill sinks into a giant pit that's the size of the Colosseum or something like that. Where it's like this center part in the middle there that you have like this perfect bird's eye view of the entire place from where you're standing. And what you see is wolves and humans. You see wolves and humans of different shapes, sizes, and genders sitting around this edge, this downward edge in this pit here. There's no like seats carved in it or anything like that. It's just grassy downward hill, from all sides, and they're sitting on there. There's wolves that are gray, darker gray, paler gray. There's wolves that are brown, darker brown, lighter brown, more orange in the brown and that sort of thing. And there are humans there who also, just like North Star when she shapeshift, are completely like bald apart from like their head and areas like that. But they're basically in the nude there, and none of them turn around or even turn their head when you come there. You see that they're all fixated on whatever is at the bottom of the pit there. And you can totally see clearly from where you are. you know, these wolves and men and women that are around you here on the edges of the pit, all just like the dead bodies, they have like scars of claw marks on them. They have like leather straps and tassels on their bodies. They have like belts and buckles and swords, and some of them have like all sorts of little trinkets, and their hairs have been weaved into whatever those are called, those tails. Anyway. And all this sort of, they don't look like normal wolves, they don't look like normal humans, even though you haven't seen normal humans yet, but still it's like everybody looks immediately as you look at them, it's like, oh yeah, they're werewolves. You know, they're Garou, for, you know, there's no doubting that. But what you see that they're all looking at very, very intently in the center of that pit is that there is indeed a drummer. There is a drummer who's in the Krynos form, in the werewolf form that you're in, with these giant these giant drum sticks, these almost like these staffs, these giant logs with these big balls on top of them, and he has like multiple giant like kettle drum like giant drums, and it's just and you see that in front of him, as there is this area of flat surface in the center of the pit, it's basically the same size scope as with, let's say, the Colosseum, for reference. You see that there's two werewolves there standing. One of them, they're both in their werewolf Krynos form. One of them is brown and orangish colored, just like the werewolf who attacked you and North Star when you entered the territory. And the other is the same color as you and North Star are. This gray with darker gray areas, lighter gray areas, and they're both very big. They're as tall as you, but they're also very like gritty and bulging and that sort of thing. And they also have all sorts of scars and tassels and little knickknacks around them. And their body, their posture is completely different. The one who's brown is very like hunched over, and its fingers spread with these giant claws, these almost like eagle talons, just like your claws, spurting out of him, and it's like this. It looks really like this, very feral, very beastly, very like this cornered animal type of posture. And the other one is the exact opposite. The other one is in this almost like in this samurai stance with this long, basically this two-handed Viking sword-looking sword there, and he's like in this Viking, this samurai type of stance with his back straight, with both arms, holding the sword, and with one leg in front and one leg behind, and with its nose bent a little downward, with this serious gaze at the other one, and they have this clear distance between them, where the drummer is in the middle, but on the side, not in the middle, like in the middle of those two. But it's like symmetrical. They almost form, from your point of view, they almost form like a triangle the way they are stationed there, and they're both like, the gray one seems to be in this calm state, this calm, composed state, whereas the brown orange one seems to be like pumping himself up, like this type of thing, and the drumming is still going strong, and North Star looks up at this, and then looks up at you to see if how you're reacting to what you're seeing.
I have to fight some urges here, because the first thing that I would want to do is like go and talk to everybody, like, ooh, who are you? What are you doing? What's going on? And but understanding that this is clearly probably the most important thing that I've seen so far, and most likely from the vibe that she's getting off of it, one of the most important things that the people here have ever seen. I kind of stick to the back and allow, when I notice North Star waking up or becoming more alert, allow her a good view of this, because I'm interpreting this as a fight between two alphas, and the one that wins will be the new pack leader, and that's what's going on here in her opinion. And well, there's probably 1,000 nuances to it, but seeing as she doesn't want to disturb everybody's watching, she'll just observe.
As you're doing that, North Star does look there and looks at you and says, it's like you said, it's come down to this. I just hope it would have come to this right from the start. And she
What do
looks
you mean?
So all of those dead bodies could have been avoided. And once she says that, there's almost no time to continue on with the conversation, because the drumming is like getting to this absolute
Climax.
peak. Yeah, it's like it's getting like faster and faster and faster, and you see like these whenever it's struck like these. It's such a good eagle eye viewpoint. You can see like these droplets of sweat just exploding off of the drummer as he's just and it's like its teeth are getting like really big as it's like biting them together, and the fastest end part, like that, when it's going like really fast, really loud, it's just and then you hear almost this you can almost feel everybody clenching their assholes when this happens, because at that point you see immediately that the brown werewolf in the battlefield is immediately like immediately like pumping itself to like here we go type of thing, and you see that the other one is like just firming its grip on the sword there. And what you see before you is basically a fight happening. It's the brown one is totally on the offense, and the gray one is totally on the defense. It's the brown one immediately starts to attack with these feral like swipes of its hands and claws, and doing all these like back flips and swiping again and doing a flip where it like slash it at the same time. And the gray one is always like dodging them backwards, doing like ukemis to the sides and like blocking them with the sword. But it feels very much like he's on the defense. It feels almost like that he's being pushed back. But it's also this kind of you see after a while of them doing that, you see that they break apart a little bit, and the gray one is completely focused and secure, whereas the brown one is like puffing air out of itself. It's like and it's clear that he was on the defense, but he was also like preserving his strength type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like the brown one is fighting with passion and emotion, whereas the gray one is fighting with smarts. And as that happens, the brown one kind of growls at the sky and almost does like a chest pounding thing. It's like, and you see that it flips its arms to the sides with like its fingers protruding like that, and you see even from this distance, you can see from your vantage point that its claws become coated with the same silver that dagger that you have is coated with.
Holy
it's
shit.
Like, yeah, and it looks like its hands are shaking, and it really like groans, and grunts like it's in pain, because you saw how painful those lacerations were for North Star. And immediately after that, it kind of bends its hands and stuff as it kind of looks like it's in pain, and then it just leaps forward against this gray werewolf there, who immediately tries to combat with its with the swipes that the brown one is coming for, with an upward slash with the sword, and they like cling on to each other. The claws and the sword, just like this, again, like this movie type of with the
sparks flying, yeah.
yeah, but yeah, there's like it's like this, like the sword is entangled in the claws, but if he takes the claws out, the sword will like come to its head, and if if he lets go of the sword, the other werewolf will just slice him to ribbons. So there is this moment of this kind of test your might as it's going on there, and you see both of their shoulders and their arms are just like shaking, as it's like they're so frigging strong, both of them, that it's just insane to see how strong they're trying to bend these claws and the sword. Both of their legs are so like placed on the ground that you feel like almost this like puffs of smoke and dust coming from the ground as they're like grinding against each other. It's this like this really like a battle of strength there, this test of strength. And then you see the gray one do something that you haven't seen before. You see that it opens its eyes, and it meets the eyes of the brown one. They make eye contact, and as that happens, the gray one's eyes widen as wide as they can go, and the brown one immediately squints its eyes back, and immediately this foam flies off of its mouth, and it just immediately just, and it just, the hands go like, and the sword breaks into pieces in its hands, and it just starts to, like, foam is coming out of its mouth. It's all of the muscles look tensed up, and like veins are popping from everywhere, and it just goes absolutely berserk and insane. It just goes, with the claws, and still the gray one is keeping its posture and compulsion there. It starts to take backward dashes, backward somersaults, rolls to the side. It's completely like dodging all the moves, and with this you see that what the brown werewolf is doing with the swiping thing, you immediately recognize that it's doing what you were doing to the brown werewolf when it attacked North Star. You weren't completely in control then, so you make the assumption that that he has lost control as well of himself. And it swipes in this completely. It's just running forward and just swiping anything in its path. And the gray one is almost like herding it. It's almost like guiding it by dodging it into a good location. And then you see, almost like in a slow motion in your head, because it happens so quickly, but as a werewolf you can comprehend someone moving supernaturally quickly. When the swipes are coming in a clear pattern, the gray werewolf goes and dodges one of the swipes by doing a forward somersault under the arm and rising up behind the brown werewolf. It has the handle of his sword that has the blade broken, but it's still like this, almost like a dagger, because the sword is broken. It grabs from where it's standing, with their backs are basically to one another as it rolled behind it. It grabs the head of the brown one with its arms wrapped around its neck, and it just does this kind of a wrestling judo throw of just from the grabbing the neck and like with that force, throwing it over its body, over his body, and you see that he indeed manages that. When he goes to throw it, you hear this piercing sound in your ear, this kind of steel piercing flesh, this kind of as when he grabs the head, throws the body flies forward and tumbles to the ground, but the head stays in his hands, and the dagger is lodged into that severed head, and the headless body just with just dust like coming off of it as it drags to the ground. And immediately after that, all of the gray wolves in the audience there, and all of the human werewolves that are there, every single one of the human ones raise their heads, and they all howl this immense howl of respect. It's just this like an audience just popping, like erupting into this massive respect. And you see that the werewolf who cut the head off the other one turns around like makes a 360 slow 360 turnaround and lifts the severed head from its like neck hair, and after a little while all the brown ones also kind of lower their heads and then also join in on the howl. And
I'll join as well.
Yeah, and as you do, so does North Star. And as that happens, you see one by one the brown werewolves start to walk away. They start to walk towards the tree line and getting out. And as that happens, the tension is at the same time kind of relaxed, because just a while ago it was very tense. Now it's kind of like we can finally take a breath, you know. But at the same time, it's like there's this. You see, like everybody's looking at each other, like ha ha ha, yes, 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 type of thing. You know, it's very much like, you know, like they won the war, and it's like howls of joy and all this sort of stuff is happening. And as the brown wolves are walking away, some of the gray wolves and the humans start to kind of look around each other, and you see one right in front of you to the right, this guy that's in human form, this very bulgy and very like big dude who turns kind of his head to look at the brown wolves leaving, notices you and immediately squints his eyes. And he has like a completely shaven head, and he has like a full beard, and he has like his neck is almost as thick as his head is wide, you know, and he, you know, this James Bond level of chest hair type of thing is really like this this bear, and he squints his eyes as he looks at you, as he notices you, and as he notices you, he turns completely around and starts walking toward you, and you can see that he clearly sees North Star in your hands and your arms, and you see that the squinting turns into like this surprised and joyous type of expression, and he just goes, North Star, and then he immediately looks into you, and you see that this smile comes on his face, this kind of as he sees you, and he's walking towards you as he said that.
When he was first like just approaching me before he saw North Star, I was kind of turning her almost between turning her away from him to not sure what his reaction would be to this, well, interloper might be an overstatement, but this stranger. And but as he speaks her name and smiles, I'll relax, and I'll pretty much turn her back so that he has a clear view of her and she of him.
Yeah. As he's walking towards you and smiling, he's looking at you, and he's looking at North Star, and he's looking at you as as he comes basically basically close to you. He's looking at you, smiling, and he gives you a friendly, strong tap on the shoulder, and he's like, "Ha ha ha! You're just in time, aren't you? North Star, good to see you back." And you see that he seems quite welcoming and nice.
Hi, I am just in time. Congratulations on winning.
Congratulations to yourself as well. You see, your sis North Star is back. North Star is back! He yells there and lifts his arm and rejoice. And you immediately see that a lot of the others are starting to walk towards your direction, but not like running, but they're walking towards you with interest. And
I'll probably stand up. I was more like at first watching this crouched down, so I made myself a bit smaller, not to draw too much attention. But now that everybody's like, "Oh, North Star, yeah!" I'll probably stand up to give her some height and having people from the distance being able to see her.
Yeah. As he says that, he kind of laughs and he's like, "If North Star's back, you must be the pup. Yes!" And he smacks on your shoulders and he's like, "Yes, you're very welcome into our midst, young pup."
Thank you. I'm very glad to be here.
Ah, North Star is very beloved here. She saved my life at least more than once. The name is Oxspear, by the way. Very nice to meet you, young pup.
Good to meet you too, Oxspear. Thank you for being so welcoming.
You see that the other wolves are kind of starting to look. It is North Star. She did return, but you do see some faces who are like, contrarian. Yeah. but yeah, as that's kind of going on, you do notice that since everybody paid attention to, or at least this bunch of werewolves started to pay attention to you as this historical moment just happened there. You do hear that as this is going on, the drums start to play again, but not as furiously, just this kind of and as Oxspear is just about to tell you that oh, there's so much I want to hear from it. You hear from the middle of the pit. You hear the gray wolf who ripped the head off. You hear him yell out in this booming voice that call a Sept Moot immediately. And you see everybody turns their heads that way, and everybody's like kind of nodding and stuff. And you see that certain wolves, some of them who had come to see, like, oh, it's no star, go kind of into the tree line, and very quickly you hear lots of howling, this kind of summons howling. Anybody who's out there who needs to come to the Gaia Immediately for a Sept Moot. It's basically the howl is a summons for a Sept Moot, and the Oxspear is just there. Looks like she's got it pretty bad. Those will make some nice scars.
I nod. We were attacked on our way over here. North Star saved my life.
Join the club. We all owe her more or less our lives, or more. It's some people here may have had more than one set of thoughts about how they would feel when North Star would return, or if she would. I knew she would because I know her. We go way back, but I just pure joy. North Star returns. The Red Talons are defeated. The Garden is protected once again, as it has been for generations, by the Fenrir, as it should be. A righteous claim to this land has been rightfully glorified once again.
Oxbear, what is a current mood? What the Alpha said, call for the mood?
That is a meeting. All of the guru of this area will come to this one place here, and we will go through all that we need. We will glorify those who have brought glory on to Fenris and to Gaia on this day and on these past days in this skirmish. And we will give titles. We will set goals for the future. We will honor the spirits. We will honor the ancestors. We will honor Fenris. Glory unto Fenris! And you hear these chants of like, Skål! Skål! Fenris! You know, these chants there. And you see that he's also like, even though he's not like clinching or something, he's like, here clearly like adrenaline going through his system too, like, it's gonna be good. There's going to be party like you have never seen before, young pup.
Her face probably lights up with the description of what this is, and this sounds exactly what she wants. Like, ooh, all these people together, and everybody I can ask questions to, and I'll learn so much. So she'll be like excited.
Yeah, you see the other wolves too, they're kind of like more looking with interest, but they're not like chiming in, because Oxspear seems to be somebody who the others look up to in he seems like he's higher in like the hierarchy in this pack than the others that came to look at you, and he immediately is like, you need to go and introduce yourself to the Sept leader, or what's left of the Sept leader at this point. This has been such a destructive battle, but so glorious. This will go down to history and in song forever.
I nod.
These scars on my shoulders, see? These were made in these battles, and these I will carry to my grave, showing how much glory and honor I've brought upon our tribe.
Well done.
Thank you, young pup. There's so much. Once this Sept Moot is over, once they give you your spot, your position, I can't wait to hear which pack you'll be assigned to. If it were up to me, I'd take you in open arms.
I point at the man in the, or not even sure if it's a man, but the alpha in the stage, on the stage, who beheaded the guy. Do I need to present myself to him now? He seems busy.
Let's go. I'll take you. Since North Star looks to be still licking her wounds, she might need her wounds, in fact, licked for this, so she can gather her strength better. But that's nothing to worry about. Now that you're here, everything is going to be good. You don't need to worry about any danger or trouble here, though danger always is a pathway to glory. Am I right? And the other wolves are kind of,
Yeah.
But yeah, he seems nice enough, and he's like waving. He seems he waves his hand for you to follow him, and he's walking down the steps.
I'll follow him, still cradling North Star in my arm.
Yeah, you see that North Star has gained a lot of her consciousness and cognitive functions and whatnot. She's she's not like acting a bit hysterical like she was when you passed the lake and she was like sobbing and stuff. But she's still kind of silent. She is smiling, but she seems very nervous. You know, Oxspear did mention that some people have may have different reactions. As you saw, some people kind of roll their eyes when Oxspear yelled out that North Star is here. So it's easy to see on her, body language and such that she's most likely nervous as to how this old wolf in the battleground there will react to her.
Well, I'm probably nervous as well, but my curiosity is clearly taking the overhand above my nervousness, and I'm constantly looking around and trying to recognize, or well, not recognize, but kind of save the faces that I see around here, and like, okay, so this is somebody that belongs to us, and this is somebody. And she's more or less thinking that this will probably be her new pack, and that she needs to get to know these people and pull her weight to be able to function here.
Yeah, with the place being basically kind of the size of a coliseum, there's around 100 werewolves here.
Ooh.
Yeah, so it's very likely that many of the ones in the very opposite direction didn't even hear the yell of North Stars here, but because this is Werewolf Dark Ages, there's still plenty of werewolves around. Basically, you go down to the middle, the center. The drums are still sounding, but they're more like this joyous kind of drumming, this kind of like prepping for the mood type of thing, like, yeah, there's gonna be a party, it's gonna be epic.
Bring the booze, yeah.
Oxspear comes with you to the middle, and once you kind of come there near the middle yourself, you see that the gray wolf, who indeed beheaded the other wolf, whose body, the brown wolf's body, has already shape-shifted automatically into the regular wolf form. So here's, you see that when you die, you turn into your original form, basically. The head has shrunken in his hands, and the body has also shriveled up into a regular wolf size there. When you see the gray wolf in front of you, you see that its hair is kind of comes one of these. What are those called? Those tails that are like woven into.
I don't know, braids?
Yeah, exactly. He has like half of his hair comes into a braid from the side of his head into the front of his body, and the other half is like put to the back, and it comes to the back and is like next to his back. The other one is front, other one is back. It has like scars on its body. Nothing like, there's no like one giant scar anywhere. There's like multiple little scars everywhere. So it looks like he's been in very many fights where he hasn't been that seriously injured. And he has that dagger size two-handed sword, so it's the handle is longer than the blade on that, but he still has that in his hand, and he has blood all around his forearm, and his elbows have like these long hairs on them, and he all around has this feel that he is somewhat old, not like a grandpa, but still like he's seen his share of life. And as you approach, he turns and sees you there, and he looks very like, he has this kind of majestic aura about him. He has like, his chin is high up, and he has this well, his frame is very
Noble? Royal?
Yeah, something like yeah. And once you come there, you see that Ox Spear bows his head and goes, "Glorious victory, as always, and as expected." And the older wolf nods its head a little bit and says, "Appreciated, Ox Spear. What do we have here? A new pup?"
I I bow down, or I probably kneel down, and I'll pull the blade from my belt of swords of rope that I have the skin around me, and place it just out of my reach in front of me, and I'll bow deeply and I say, I am in awe of your victory, Alpha. I uh, I bow deeply and wait for him to acknowledge me.
"Get up, cub. I am not the Alpha, I am the Elder. I am the leader of the Sept. You do not need to call me Alpha."
Oh, I look up and get up, still making sure that my head is still a bit bowed.
As you get up, since your head is bowed, once you start to get up and your eyesight is kind of rising, you notice that he is shape-shifting back into his natural form, which is a human form, just like with Ox Spear. And he shapeshifts, it takes about 10 seconds for him to go through that whole shift. And it looks like he's like relaxing and his joints and muscles as it happens, as everything is kind of shrinking down. And as he gets to his human form, he is very lean. He's not at all bulky like Oxspear is. He is bulky in the sense that of like being a warrior, but he's not like huge. And he has again very this chiseled face, this very he I wouldn't say a baby face kind of a face because he's very rugged with he has a stubble of a beard and the hair comes to the back and the front and he has those little scars everywhere. Um, but he does have that very like the cheekbones have like these very strong lines of shadow that come to the sides of the face and that sort of thing. He basically, since you're wolf-born, you don't feel a physical attraction really to humans, but you can clearly tell that compared to like Oxspear, he's clearly more attractive. He has that sort of maybe like a gritty and rugged version of Disney prince or something like that. He does have that sort of a noble, like you described, the kind of noble authority looking. He looks like he could be like a highborn who's just gone to live in the bush,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, he has shapeshift into his natural form in front of you, and as he has shapeshift into that, and since you have your head down, you're 9 foot tall still. You see him quite well in front of you, as I described. But you see that he all of a sudden kind of his eyes widen, and he says that is that, and he takes a couple of steps forward, and you see that he puts his arm forward and places it on North Star's side of her head, and he goes, and then after that sort of kind of a relief, you can clearly see on him, he looks up at you with this new kind of look. He looks up at you in this kind of in this way that he looks to like he admires you on a certain level. He looks like he has automatic respect for you after seeing that it's a North Star in your arms, and he looks at you and goes, so it all makes sense now. Welcome, cub. You're very welcome among us. Do you know which moon you were born under?
No, sir.
And you hear from your arms as you said that, before you can even finish the word "sir," you hear North Star saying, "The crescent moon. She's born under the crescent moon," and you see that that ox spear and this wolf in front of you, this elder, both get a smile on their face, and they look at both of you, and the older wolf puts his hand on your shoulder, even though your shoulder is high up there. He puts his hand on your shoulder, or at least on your upper arm or elbow, and says, "You're a very pleasant sight to sore eyes, as after all this that's been going on for the last 2 days. I suppose coming here you've seen the residue of this nasty conflict."
I have, sir. I've seen Banes outside of, on the other side of the lake. They are feeding on the destruction that this war has caused.
We must pay homage to Gaia. May she preserve us and keep us as she has created us. That was one of my fears, and I appreciate your sense of awareness in what you have just told me and seen yourself. This conflict is so easy to get wrapped in. For us, it's been all about protecting the sanctuary. But these fools, and he lifts the head, the severed head there, these fools, it's all about themselves. We our sacred duty, he taps you on the elbow there, we've taken on the duty of protecting this place by our birth. Mere our birth, we are created into protecting this place. We are its shepherds, we are its guardians, its champions. And these fools wanted to simply point out that they are better at that task, and they should be the ones to handle that task, not us, not the ones who pay homage to Fenris and its glory. No, but them. We have humans among our midst. We are unclean. And he throws the severed head to the dusty ground and spits on the ground. I spit on them. Those red talons will never be welcomed in this place again. I will banish the last of them from this place. From here on in, it'll be the children of Fenris who look after their own, who look after their sacred duties, because we have not forgotten them. Oxspear, he nods his head a little. See to it that this place is never low on its defense. I charge you with that. Now that the Sept Moot will be put into order, we all need to be on our guard. We all need to sharpen our tools, our minds, our bodies, our spirits. This will be the beginning of a new age. An age of the Fenris, for sure. And he seems like he's worked himself up into this, again, like you can feel his heart pounding in front of you. And he's like, once everyone's gathered, we'll see to this. And you, my dear cub, you will be welcomed among us. You are a very welcome addition. I'm pleased you found your way here. I'm pleased North Star was there. If anyone should have been there to guide you here, North Star is the one we all would wish for ourselves in that situation. You're a lucky cub. And he turns and walks away, and as he walks he goes to pick the head up, and he takes the broken sword, and you see just his back, because his back is kind of at you at this point, but you see that he's clearly carving the head with the dagger there. And Ox Spear kind of turns to you and puts his hand on your shoulder and taps it, and has this smile, this respectful smile on his face, and just nods his head.
I nod as well, and I look at the blade that I placed on the ground, and I kind of look at Ox Spear and look at it and say, that belonged to one of the Fenrir. Should we give it back to them?
Was that, by the way?
Oh no, the Red Talon. Sorry.
Yeah,
that belongs to one of the Red Talons. Should we give it back to them?
If I was you, I think I'd throw it into the pyre. There will be a giant pyre.
I nod. I pick it up and keep it with me.
You see, by the way, at this time, as the drumming is kind of in the background there, you see that there's been a lot of wolves that have shapeshift into Krynos form, and are kind of like they're bringing these huge reserves of these bundled up sticks. It's really long ass and thick sticks and branches and stuff that have been like wrapped in twine type of, like with rope and stuff, and they're like carrying them and bringing them into the middle of the field. They're quite close to you, and it's clear that they're building like the way North Star built the giant pyre, or it wasn't like a giant pyre, it was just like more like a campfire. But still, it's like you see that they're clearly doing that, but on a giant scale.
Mm-hmm.
And as they're doing that, Ox Spear then turns.
I'll probably tap Ox Spear like, look, they're making fire.
And Ox Spear is just nodding and North Star is also looking there, and she seems content and happy, and she kind of nuzzles her head into your arms type of thing there, and Ox Spear then just gives you like a smack on the shoulder there, as a kind gesture, and goes, "We better take North Star to one of the to one of the people that can look at her wounds. I think Steel Cave is around here somewhere." And he looks around and kind of starts walking, aiming for you to follow him.
I will. I'm sticking to him like glue.
Yeah. It doesn't take too long after he's gone around this pit, where you see that there's this, again, another human in the human form. He has gray hair with like a bald patch on the middle of the head. His back is kind of turned to you, and he has the shards of the broken sword in his hands, and he's like collected them up, and he has like a bag that he's opened up and is putting them in there, and it's kind of like he has like all sorts of bags like going across his body there, and they're like full of, there's like tools sticking out and that sort of thing. But he's still, in the nude as a grown-ass man there. And
Just so we're clear, anybody I meet on our way there, though I don't believe it's very far, but uh, um, pretty much everybody I meet, I greet. Like, hello, hi, 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 hello.
okay, some of them are, or majority of them, look at you like in this kind of but then they see that Oxspear is walking with you, and they're kind of like, "Hmm." And then they see who you're carrying, and they're like, oh, this kind of, it goes like this, this upwards of, this joy and respect, kind of like, who's that guy? Oh, if he's with him, he must be legit. Oh, I see. But there are some who are kind of just like, like they have either their mind on something else, or they're like, in this kind of, whatever type of mindset. Since you can guess from a lot of them, many of them have been fighting for their lives earlier today for the last couple of days, so it's understandable that there's mental fatigue and that sort of stuff.
Of course, but it's just she believes it's important to get to know everybody.
Yeah, but as you get to this guy that Oxspear mentioned to be Steel Cave. Oxspear comes close to him and just says, "Steel Cave," and the old guy turns his head, and you see that he has these squinty eyes, this big nose, and he's basically the age of a grandpa type of thing. He's really like old, and he has like fingers that are very like the fingernails, and the fingers are really like puffy and broken many a times type of thing. Like it looks like he's worked his entire life stuff with his hands type of thing. And he turns his head and immediately opens his eyes wider as he sees who's standing there in front of him, and he gets up and kind of wipes his knees there and looks at you and says, this must be the new cub. And Oxspear is just just nodding his head, and he immediately he, by the way, has lots of those scar patterns. Like he has almost like tattoos around his body, these scars that have like clear patterns, clear images, and one of them is clearly the circular image that you carved in your dream into that side of the tree when you sat on the tree branch and looked at the giant moon there. And you see that he has like around his neck, he has like a pouch that's hanging from a leather strap there, and you see that he has like those bags on his sides, and from them there's protruding all sorts of stuff. He has like wristbands that have all sorts of like pebbles and hairs and little pieces of bone, and he has all sorts of stuff on him that he's clearly like made for himself, like necklaces and these like he doesn't look like a lot of the other that are in human form. They're kind of plain, but he's like a Christmas tree almost, like he's covered in this stuff. And,
this will distract me greatly. I'll be like looking at all the bags and kind of like reaching my neck to see what is in these things. And
yeah, as he walks towards you, he's in all his steps. There's always this kind of sound as all this stuff is clattering on his body, and he comes close and says, I see, and looks down at North Star, and he kind of puts his hand on her face and just kind of wipes it with with his hand there, and you see that from his thumb there is this stripe that comes to the forehead of North Star there as he does that, and he then presses his forehead against North Star's forehead, and it's like whispers. You can hear the whisper uh, because you're so close, but he whispers in very quiet tone, just Gaia, Gaia be praised, you're safe, and looks up at you and gives you a smile as well. You know, this warm kind of smile with his slanted, squinty eyes, and you know.
I smile back at him.
I see North Star has already taught you much about what I have taught here. And he lifts with his hand the pelt a little bit, you know, there with this smile on his face.
I look a bit impressed, like, ooh, this is the teacher of the teacher. So I was like, oh.
Yeah.
I nod and say, North Star has taught me so much already.
And yet there is an endless amount for you to learn. And he then puts his hands and kind of slides them under North Star there in your hands, and he looks up at you and says, "May I?"
I accommodate him so that he can take her over more easily.
Yeah. As he does so, he at the same time he's also shape-shifting. You see that all the trinkets and stuff are kind of loose. None of them are really like tight to his body. So you see when he shape-shifts into the Krynos form that you're in, they still fit. They're tight, but they still fit him. That they don't break or anything like that. And he grabs her and looks at her legs, and you see that he kind of lowers his head, and you see that this. You don't really see it visually, but you just feel the kind of this air vibrate around his shoulder and neck area, the way like asphalt vibrates, like emits heat. You know, this type of heat coming off of him, and then he opens his eyes, and you see that the eyes are white for a second until his pupils kind of fade into them, and then you see that he takes one of North Star's legs and goes to lick it. And in the Krynos form, the tongue is, you know, like an animal tongue. It's large. So with one lick swipe of the leg, you see that as the tongue moves forward, the fur that's revealed from under it as it's moved forward doesn't have the wound anymore. It's just.
Nice.
And he then like.
Can I take a toilet break for a moment? Because I need to go.
Sure. Yeah, sure.
Now you entertain the people.
Ah, God damn it. Yeah, well, what can I say? Well, I can't come up with anything on the fly right now, except for maybe I'll just hey, want to see cool stuff? Want to see cool stuff? Yeah, here's a great little manga for you to check out. It's cool stuff, man. It's cool stuff, yeah. Here's a funny little anime series for you to check out. Cool stuff, man. Cool stuff. And let's see, what other sorts of stuff do I have here? Yeah. Cool movie, bro. Check it out. Cool stuff, man. Cool stuff. And if you check out this box right here, you might recognize a familiar sounding voice from from a steel cave there. Cool stuff, cool stuff. Then I guess, yeah, here's a series that's the best inspiration I can ever come up with for Vampire the Masquerade. If you're into Vampire the Masquerade, you gotta watch Boardwalk Empire. Cool stuff, cool stuff. Yeah, and finally. Okay. But it's tit for tat. So now you entertain the people as I piss.
Seriously? God. Man. I don't know what he did, but I got a different Werewolf the Dark Ages book. And a tray with dices. Man, he's already 2 for 1 on this. I'm really bad at entertaining people. So. Fun fact. Tomorrow I'm starting my course of my education to become a beekeeper. So that's pretty cool. At least I think so, but, well.
Yeah, you're going to have to preserve the bees.
Yeah,
They're
exactly.
mysteriously dying for reasons we cannot understand yet.
Oh, and speaking of bees, I'm looking to hopefully obtain a jar of honey from hopefully one of the bees that I'll be keeping, and then because I already have the movie, the Dutch movie that I'm gonna send to you, and then I'm gonna send you and the movie and a jar of honey.
Oh, I guess I'll have to take this into consideration next time I give experience points, huh? I guess that's what you're kind of going for, huh? Is that it?
Hopefully, yes.
I remember I once was in a game where a player flipped out when jokingly I gave the GM some of my cheese. We were all students, so we didn't have a lot of food or money to spend on food. And she asked me, could you have some of my cheese? And I said only if I get extra experience points. And she, jokingly said, okay. And she wrote down some more experience.
Wink, wink. Yeah.
Yeah. And one of the players was like, I'm not playing this. That's what you're so easily corruptible. Fuck this shit, man. And just let it. We were like, I guess we got rid of the excess weight here.
Yeah, that's horrible. Yeah.
Yeah. So serious. But yeah,
Why so serious?
I drank a mug full of coffee before this and a mug full of beer as we played. So that's like a recipe for constant bathroom breaks. So that was my fault. But still.
Considerable size, but not yours.
But yeah. Let's continue on, honey guy.
Lift over the wounds and the wounds disappear.
Yeah.
It's a miracle.
Praise. But yeah, it's this very just like you felt when you looked into her eye. It feels like the same way. It feels almost like you're seeing same sort of. It's not the same sort of thing in the sense that you don't feel like they have this close-knit relationship exactly like that, but perhaps it's like there's this element of nurturing that goes into it that makes you feel like I'm sure this is something I could discover from the same sort of pathways of the mind and of the soul, the spirit, whatever, that you went through when you discovered stepping sideways and that sort of thing.
Seeing this, I flip out and I how did you do that? Oh my god!
As he licks the wound clean, he kind of looks at you when you do that, and kind of gets like this amused look on his face, and uh, and um, and he said, "One day when you have the awareness, I will teach you the same." And licks the other leg, and after that he places her on the ground and then just gives her a little tap on her sides as she kind of like jolts from that, and you see that she immediately can walk normally, and he's like, "The place we're in now, right now is a sanctuary of Gaia, so it is easy to pull off feats such as these."
That is amazing. That is the most amazing thing I've ever seen. I kind of, which is probably a strange look because I believe North Star is still in wolf form and
Yeah.
I'm in Greenos form. So I pretty much like drop to the ground and kind of put my nose to her legs or her hind legs and like examine them like, oh my God, this is amazing.
They are the legs are still moist from licking them and that sort of thing, but also there is some sort of a like eminence of something other than just saliva.
I'll
It's
sniff
not
them
that.
and examine them and try to find out what had happened here.
Yeah, it's not something that you can really like put to words in your mind that okay, this happened and that happened and blah blah blah. It's something that's kind of beyond your comprehension of that at this time, since you've not even learned really any of the of abilities like that. It's still like the closest thing that comes to your mind was when the cuckoo bird put its charms of concealing um, your werewolf form, from the Bane before. That felt a little similar, but not exactly. Plus, this feels like this is some profound shit, man. It's like if every werewolf could do this, there wouldn't be that many corpses outside the island there. So it feels like that adds to the kind of level of respect that you have for the steel cave that's standing there in front of you. Uh, who after this whole thing is shape shifting back into his human form, and as you're there, bent on the ground and looking at the legs and stuff, he comes and places his hand on your shoulder. He has this very like this grandfather-esque vibe about him. Like he feels immediately like someone you not perhaps that you've known before, but he feels like that you feel like this immediate sort of trust with him, or this kind of you feel this kind of a openness, like the thought that he has been the teacher of North Star in the past, automatically makes you like feel like he's someone very trustworthy and to be respected and such.
Seeing the fact that I feel that uh, um, my claw at this time almost like moves to his face to examine his tongue, but it's just like I see that my claw in his face, and I'm like, oh no, no, that's not a good idea. And then I just look at his face and like I am awestruck. This is amazing.
Mm, well, the the Sept Moot is about to commence soon. Once that happens, we will find out what good death our illustrious leader has in store for you for your rite of passage now that you've come here.
Good death?
Yes, that is the name of our leader
Oh, I see.
there. As you probably saw in the showdown, there's a reason he has been given that name throughout the years.
I nod.
But this battle, this skirmish took on entire 2 days. We originally had 5 members of the Sept leaders court here. Now only I and Good Death remain. I am tremendously pleased that North Star returned and that she brought you with her. Because at this point, we will need to mend ourselves and hone our skills and really see what we are made of in these coming times of our numbers being strained.
We'll also need to repair the damage that we've done.
I have looked on with eyes filled with mourning with what I've seen. We, the leaders, were on this island, on this cairn, while all this went down. And I saw the whole regression happen. It is a sad truth of our nature. We are of 2 worlds, and in that, the same way, our greatest strength is also our greatest weakness, and that is our rage. You have seen the power of our rage, am I right?
I think so, yes.
And at the same time, you poor cub, having been baptized in blood as you've made your journey here, have also seen the downside, the dark side of that. It is a complete life and existence of duality that we live with. It's a balancing act. And I'm just glad that the killing has finally stopped now.
I nod.
I'm glad that you are of the crescent moon as I am as well.
What does that mean?
We all have our duties. You most likely will never be put on the battlefield like Good Death was, to defend the entire tribe, to duel with someone of the other tribe that way. I'm not saying you will never fight another tribesman, but that is not your duty. Your duty, just as mine, is to be the intermediary between the spirit and the physical. There are some among us who rarely go into the realm of the spirit, to the velvet shadow, who rarely coerce with the spirits unless it is something they wish to gain from them, like abilities, like one I just applied here. But our role is to apply understanding and awareness of the entire spirit world. We hold some of the greatest powers, some of the greatest secrets in the entire cosmos because we have the understanding and the awareness to dig deep into the meanings of things. That is our duty. We must help our brothers and sisters to understand the velvet shadow and the secrets of the cosmos. that they lack the awareness and the honed skills to understand. As soon as your rite of passage is due, it would be my honor to tutor you as much as I can.
Thank you. That would mean a lot to me.
North Star means a lot to me, as she does to many of us. Oxspear here, he kind of lifts his head. Oxspear here has been saved more than once by her, as have many others here. Her greatest quality is her heart. And you see that North Star kind of looks at him questioningly, but kind of, doesn't interrupt. She tends to put her feelings and she tends to look after her brothers and sisters with more immediate attention than many others. You will never find her sacrificing her brothers and sisters for any greater cause, unless that cause is rescuing her brothers and sisters. And North Star kind of steps forward and says that I was concerned coming back here, knowing I abandoned you, and now I'm back here, and everyone seems just joyous to see me back. It's breathtakingly pleasing to witness, and you have my utmost respect for that. And Steel Cave looks upon her with smiles and says, "It doesn't matter as long as you did come back." And he then looks up at you and pats you on the shoulder and gives you a wide smile, and then says, "I must go and speak with Good Death about the moot. It'll soon happen, so don't go anywhere. I'll be seeing you further down the line, Pop."
Yes.
And you see him go past you and walk towards the direction of Good Death. And you're again left there with Oxspear and North Star. And Oxspear is kind of, anxiously looking around and kind of, the mood is about to start. And he just said, I'll go look around, see if my packmates are putting themselves to good use. I'll see you soon. And he walks off.
As he walks off, I'll slap him on the shoulder. This is apparently how people greet each other here. So I slap him as hard as I can, by the way.
You're still in your Krynos form.
Yeah, well, I don't know how strong I am in this shape, so...
And you see him kind of, his shoulder goes like... and he kind of looks back, but then just... and keeps walking. And you're left there with North Star as you see that the pyre has been kind of built up, and you see that the amount of wolves and people, well, the amount of werewolves there has almost not quite doubled, but it's gone up immensely to basically the numbers of 150 or so, and they're all the same color pattern. They're all like grayish. Light gray, dark gray, this sort of thing, and the drumming is starting to get. Sun is already like setting so far, like it was already setting when you swam across the lake. So at this point, you can already see like there's the thunder clouds have kind of subsided from the sky, and there's you know, you see the stars on the sky, and you see the moon on the sky, and the pyre gets lit. Somebody comes with a torch and just sticks it in there and just starts to erupt in flame, and the once the flames start engulfing the pyre, it just goes into this giant pyre that's like towers in front of you, and the drumming gets more intense, and you see that there's another werewolf who comes there, but he's in human form, and he has like these straps around his legs, his ankles, and his thighs that have these bells on them, and he starts to like do this kind of Native American looking like a knee lifting dance thing around the drums, and basically making this kind of sound basically there. So he's basically like playing a tambourine or something with the way he's like kicking his feet there and dancing while drumming is happening there. And you see that a lot of the wolves have like gathered closer to the middle, and they seem like it's more like this. The place starts to look like a natural Viking longhouse or a mead hall type of thing, where people have, like wolves have like gathered there. The pyre is blazing with this heat and light it's emitting. The colors in this place, because of the sun being already down and stuff, it's very like dark with this yellow glow there, with big shadows there, and with the fire crackling and burning there, and with the drumming and the dancing stuff, and with the other wolves just coming there and just being like very like this friendly atmosphere, this kind of like everybody's like talking with each other and laughing and being really like in a good mood, and the music is playing with the drums and with the bells and stuff. You see that that Good Death walks onto this pedestal that has been brought there, and he walks to the pedestal and he like lifts his spreads his arms to the sides and lifts his head and lets out a howl of basically like welcoming everyone to the Sept Moot. And at that point, the drumming stops and there's silence again on part of the music. But everybody, as he says, basically howls welcome to everyone, you hear these roarings from the crowd. Basically, this very like it's very much like this lively atmosphere there. And basically North Star alongside you is just like keeping close to you and looking at you and looking at the at Good Death, the leader of the Sept there, as he's standing on the pedestal there, and he starts to speak to the mob there. He yells out, "Victory is ours! Victory to the Fenrir! Victory and glory to Fenris!" And he has his hand there like that, and to that, a lot of the werewolves reply with "Glory to Fenris! Skull, skull, skull!" And you see that when they yell out "Skull, skull, skull," the Good Death takes a wolf skull, and you can clearly see that it still has like some blood on it, and the same way that North Star skinned the buck, he has clearly skinned the severed head, and he has the severed head's skull there in his hand, and he takes a horn. He has a horn there that's hollowed out, and he pours some liquid into the skull there, and while everybody's going like "Skull, skull, skull," he takes the wolf skull and like drinks mead off of it, and it just like flows from the sides of his mouth as the skull is not like shaped to be a perfect cup. It's just it's more like this gesture type of thing, and this a thing of taking your enemy and drinking drinking the toast of victory from their skull. And after drinking that, he just goes again like that with the skull in one hand, the horn in one hand, and with the color that the pyre gives onto his body. It's very primordial. This very caveman-like this stuff that's going on here, and he yells out that victory has been ours, but at a cost. Our sept is led now only but by two. Myself and Steel Cave are now in charge, so there will be honors given to you, there will be titles given to you, there will be duties given to you, and there will be honors given to you. Praise be to Gaia! And everyone shouts at that. Praise be to Fenris! And again, like skulls, and everybody there has like horns of their own, and you see that somebody's brought like barrels there. Since it's so dark, but with the pyre lighting, you can't see very far. Somebody's like brought barrels there, and they're like somebody's putting their fist through the barrel, and it's just this meat, and there's like horns coming under, like like everybody's like, and the music is playing very strong again, like there, and the bells are ringing like that. With drumming there, and there's like it's an all around like everybody's like partying there. Everybody's like having fun, getting drunk, and being all physical there and all that. And the drumming is like at some points the drumming gets like a little milder, so that it doesn't drown out like the voice. And the guy who was like kick dancing there with the bells. Starts to speak with he's waving his hands as he's saying stuff like it was Sapandi's fields that the screaming eagles took their enemies and tore them apart. And you hear this like, glory to Fenris, skull, skull, and the drumming just continues on, and it's like the kick dancing continues on. And every once in a while, the music and the bolstering is interrupted by the guy just again like telling these how awesome we are, like, yeah, the battle did this, and then he totally tackled him and tore his head off, and yeah, glory to Fenris, this kind of stuff. It's like very much like this partying atmosphere. And you do see some werewolves like where they're like laughing and somebody shoves somebody and somebody shoves them back, and people kind of move back from them as they're like they start to like get into a drunken brawl until one of them gives like a serious snarl and the other backs off, and everybody's like, yeah, and it continues on there. It's something that you've never seen, of course, in your life, but it's immediately something that's that kind of grabs you. It's immediately something that you feel like that is a part of. You feel like this is the culture that you were supposed to have all along, type of thing, and you just feel like the celebration of this community of this of basically life in itself. Even though they're talking about how they killed this and that sort of thing, it's still this kind of it's this. It takes like this pure red hot kind of essence of life from these moments of like fighting for your life in these life and death situations in these battles, and it's very much like glorified and very like this, and you really feel like it grabs you, and North Star is like she's not like going into the thing, you know, she's not like taking part that much into it, but she is looking up at you and paying close attention to your reactions to what's going on there.
I'm pretty much drawn to it, but seeing as that North Star is my center at this point, I'll probably stick to her and constantly looking at her like, okay, what is she doing? How should I react to this? And I don't want to insult people or anything, even though from what I'm seeing, there's very little chance of that happening, seeing how rough and tough it's all going about. But I probably stick to her a lot.
Okay.
But
Right.
anxious. It takes self-control to not like take part in this festival.
Yeah. But yeah, the uh, yes, 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 yes. Checking stuff from the book. Yes, 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 yes.
Wow, it's such an exciting feast.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I there. Okay. Yeah. As all this is going on with the drumming and with the intense feeling of it, it's very strong. But every once in a while, you see Good Death climb onto the pedestal again and like putting his arms out, and then you hear the drumming like dead silence stop, and everybody's like, like everybody's like in the feeling of it all, and Good Death will announce stuff. He will go like like the blood claws did us proud on this eve of battle. The leader of the blood claws, come forth. And you see that one of the wolves walks, to the front of the pyre, like between the pyres and the pedestal there. And Good Death says that on this day we acknowledge your sacrifices and your scars that you have laid upon your own body. The spirits will take you on, and we shall recognize your ability, your dedication, and your strength. May you be known as Adren from here on in. And everybody's like, no! Like, and North Star kind of looks up at you and says, he was just raised in rank. He just rose in the hierarchy of the of his own pack.
Oh, but he was already the leader.
Yeah, he was the leader. He was the most. He was the leader of his pack. But in terms of the entire community, he is now higher in rank. He is only the alpha of one pack, but our community consists of multiple packs, and people like Good Death or Steel Cave are on a much higher rank than the alphas of a singular pack.
Okay, I got it.
She smiles at you and all this, and Good Death also calls out another wolf and says that you are now. We recognize your sacrifices, and you are now recognized as being a Forstern, and another will be recognized as Athro, and that sort of thing. And as he's doing that, the Steel Cave climbs onto the on the pedestal next to Good Death and puts his arm on his shoulder around his body and says that I doubt there will be any one denying that you on this day have sacrificed and caused us such immense pride to follow you even to the ends of the earth, Good Death. You have secured our cairn, and you have brought great glory to our entire tribe. From here on in, you will take my side as a fellow leader of the Sept. Not only that, but take my side as an elder. And everyone is like, yeah, good death, glory to Fenris. Everybody's like flipping out, and there's not a dissenting voice, but you do see some werewolves out there. You haven't heard about the Ragabashes yet, but you see some of them who are like rolling their eyes and just you hear one say to one with a loud enough voice so that you can hear it. It says, "I guess might makes right in this damn community." And everybody's like, "Oh yeah!" Everybody's just partying there, and you see that Good Death looks up at Steel Cave with this kind of taken aback feeling. This kind of, you see his eyebrows, and he has this kind of glossy eyes as he looks at him, and you see that he takes his hand in this arm wrestling. I can't demonstrate with both hands into that, and presses it close to his chest, and then leans forward and with one arm hugs him, and you see that his jaw is moving. He's clearly whispering something to Steel Cave, and they stay in that position for like 30 seconds or something. He's really saying something profound, to him that's important, and you see that the drummer is already like, is it time to get back to the drumming? Like, is there still further announcements? Like, and after that, after Good Death then like grabs his arm and goes, and then he turns. And he goes, one last thing, and then it'll be partying for the rest of the evening. I want to announce that North Star has returned to the fold. North Star is one of us, as she's always been, but now her presence is is visible to the naked eye, or something. And he immediately points his hand towards, clearly right at North Star, and says, "Come to the podium, North Star, and see your tribesmen, see your brothers and sisters, and see how you are welcomed back to the fold." And North Star looks right at you with this kind of.
I cheer and I like, yay!
She's like, and walks towards the front.
What shape is she? Is she still in wolf shape?
Yeah, that's her natural shape, so that's what she is in. And when she climbs to the stands there, you see that Good Death puts his arm around her back and just kind of scratches and taps her chest there a bit. And smiles widely with this immense pride in his. You see, like his eyes are almost like, or his eyes are moist because they're reflecting like the moon's light there, and he's really like emotional there, and he's like, "I will now announce a new pup to come to our fold with North Star. Come forth, pup!" And he looks at you, and again points his hand.
I'll go up as well. Is anybody here in Krinov's form? Because I'm still in Krinov's form, and I didn't really think the change of any sort.
well, nobody's really in Krynos form unless. Well, some people are shape-shifting here and there every now and again, but the drummer is basically, because the drumsticks are so goddamn huge, is in Krynos form, but everybody's pretty much in the form that feels natural and feels, that they feel like being in, and the most comfortable form for almost anybody is the form that they were born in. And in your case, it's the wolf form. But since you've been in the Krynos form for such a long time, you've kind of gotten used to it. So it's not like, oh, I better change back. You can, of course, feel that way.
I will, because it might be not the right thing to do to not come into your natural shape. So I'll change into a wolf, and I'll hurry up to the stand.
And as you go to the stand, you see that that good death is like patting you on the back, and is like saying, "See," and everybody's like, "Woo!" And it's like, the prestige will go on, the blood will go on, the family moves onward, and as much as we've respected the ancestors of North Star and the fathers and mothers of North Star and North Star herself, so shall we respect her pop. And everybody's like, "Ooh!" And North Star is kind of like, like oh shit, like something just slipped.
I look at her like, what?
and she's kind of just like she is waiting for basically if if a good death is gonna say something else here before she turns her attention to you. So, like good death is saying still that because the blood, the Fenris is so strong in that line, the skill that we need honed quickly, the immense responsibility that needs honing in our tribe, especially after the losses we've had due to this skirmish, this attack, this immense cataclysm in our lives and in our tribe's existence. We will have to hone ourselves. We will need to sharpen our tools to extents we've never sharpened them before. And thus, I declare that the rite of passage for someone of your pedigree, of your prestige, young pup, is no mild and mere feat that we wish to see. You will have your rite of passage in the realm of battleground, where you will learn of the ways of war, where you will learn of the ways of Fenris, and where you will learn glory, where you will learn to pay respect to the spirits that we serve, where you will learn that that Fenrir are off the battleground, that we are off this land, that we never back down in the face of challenges like the pathetic Red Talons, who felt they are above us and therefore should rule our lands, the lands our ancestors have ruled before us, the lands that your ancestors have defended against onslaughts of enemies throughout the ages. You will go to the realm of battleground for 12 moons and learn to hone and sharpen your skills. That is my creed. And everyone is like, "Urgh!" Like you see some of them get really like taken aback in this serious kind of a face that you see on people's faces, and you see that North Star also kind of, first she was kind of like, and then she kind of froze when that was said, and the drumming get like really intense, like, and everybody's like howling of like this kind of like, yes, this worship there, like they're like really like pumped, they're really like, it seems that that all majority of the respect a lot of them have for North Star, it comes from her bloodline clearly. And once it was said that you're her pup, it's it's like what the fuck, like as the drumming continues, you see that Good Death turns to you with a smile on his face, and he places his hands on your shoulders there, and is like shaking them and being like, you will make us proud. You will make us proud. I guarantee it. You already make us proud.
I nod and thank you, thank you.
And the drumming is going on, and as North Star is kind of there in the between you, Good Death turns to North Star and says, "I need you to take her there. I need you to guide her there. I need you to be there with him. She will be honed by the battleground there. You know that is what it will do. You know what it will make her into. You know how it will make or break a young cub. But because of the prestige in your blood, there is no way she'll break." And he looks at you, and with this respect on his face, as he's looking at you when he said that, and young cub, I will come there very soon after to teach you. Steel Cave will come there very soon after to teach you. Ox Spear will come there soon after to teach you. These 12 moons that you will spend in the realm of battleground, you will not only learn what the realm has to teach you, you will learn what we all have to teach you. We, elders of our tribe, leaders of our tribe, the structure pillars of our tribe, the heart and soul of our tribe, we will all take you under our wing, and we will teach you. We will hone you. You will be groomed, believe me. You will be groomed. It will be hot, tough, but it will be worth it. You, because of as he's tapping you, because of the prestige you have, you also carry a responsibility. You carry something in you, in your veins, in your spirit, and in your full self that almost none of us here carry. So you have a lot more to live up to. You see how people respect North Star, and North Star kind of lowers her head. You see how everybody respects her, how everybody takes her in without a second thought, even though she left.
Yes.
You need to live up to that. She has lived up to that during her lifetime. You will learn to live up to that.
I will look at North Star for a moment, and then I will look at him and say, I will make my pack proud.
She looks at you with this very proud look on her face, and she then turns her head towards Good Death, and Good Death is like nodding himself and kind of like rolling his shoulders as the drumming is getting like stronger, and he kind of just takes his hand and just does this cutting motion with his fingers, and you see that he cuts just like North Star did when the Red Talon attacked you two. He tears with his claws or his fingertips a hole into the fabric of reality, and you see it's like this hole that is torn to a cloth type of this type of thing that has this electric, like this Tesla type of this electricity on the edges of that hole, like this going on it, and it's very much like what you see from that hole is what you already recognize as familiar. This entire other world that you feel drawn to, and you see Good Death is like nodding his head and like really like being pumped about this whole atmosphere where everybody's like a lot of people, a lot of the werewolves are paying close attention to what's going on, and not many of them are being as rowdy or loud as they were. But the drumming is going on. But the drumming has like shifted into this not just this but kind of this this thing that's kind of building up to you walking through it with North Star, and North Star looks at you and with this kind of smile on her face.
I nod at her.
And she then goes and walks through this tear in the gauntlet, in the fabric of the veil between the physical and the spiritual.
I look around. Do I see any creatures that I might consider to be creatures that live in or around a lake?
You mean after you've gone through it or something?
No, before I go through.
Yeah, sure. Just like the birds that had been gathered there, I forgot to emphasize on that, but while the fight was going on, all the trees were littered with birds paying attention to it, and all sorts of other small animals that were there. While this has been going on, also there's been like wildlife there with you, and there's, for example, there is a well, what sort of an animal could be that's part of the lake? Well, I'll say frogs again, because last time it was also frogs. You see that there's, different animals everywhere, but you do see that on the side there, just so that the light illuminates a little bit of them, you see that there are some frogs there as well.
Then I'll look at them, and I don't know how far they are from me, but I'm assuming they're not like really close by. So I'll more or less mouth and send the essence of my thoughts in their direction. That pretty much saying to them that I will not forget my promise as I step through.
Okay. You see that the frogs that you talk to look right you into the eye, like they don't just happen to be there. They clearly look you in the eye when you look at them. And as you get through it, you feel again like first time you went to the spirit world, it was so sporadic, like you didn't have time to contemplate what it felt like. And when you got out, it was so like transfixed on the water thing that now you actually feel more purely like what it feels like as you push yourself through an entire like fabric of reality. You push yourself through a gauntlet. It doesn't need to be told to you that this is a gauntlet. This is a veil between these two worlds. It comes to you immediately as you feel it. It's like pushing yourself through something strong that has a resistance factor to it, where you have to like moving your arms underwater. Like there is this resistance to it, but you can squeeze through like just. And once you get through, you feel the same sort of sensations as you felt the first time you came through, where everything feels like they're moving lighter. Your hair is fluttering, and the fur is fluttering in the air like it would underwater, and the air again feels like something very refreshing, as it's like going into your lungs and exhaling very strongly with like steam coming out of your mouth. And since you're in this Skyrim, it looks kind of different from the other places you were in. in the spirit world, in the Umbra, because this is the centerpiece of where basically the gauntlet is the weakest. So this is where physical and spiritual are in very close contact. When you go through, you see a reflection of pretty much everything. You see a reflection of the pyre burning. You see a reflection of the werewolves dancing and having a good time. You see the reflection of people, of them drinking. You have this air of emotion that's of this pride, of joy, of like this comradeship, this family feeling. It's just emanating of it, like heat from flames. It's just emanating from it, and there's life everywhere. There's like glowing light, and there's life everywhere. There's those birds in the trees. There's the trees are a lot bigger here, with branches going to much greater extents here. There's all kinds of things in here that indicate that there's so much life here. It's like the centerpiece of life here. It's like spirits are just flying about, and you know when you look at these spirits, these animal spirits and other spirits that are not clearly as animals, like, you know, in their appearance. Some of them look like you know, a little bit humanoid. Some of them look like abstract shapes, but you can tell that they are spirits of various things. It's just it's so clear that they're taking part in this celebration. The spirits are like dancing and singing in the Umbra around this, and you feel like there is this this air of chasing out wickedness, chasing out ill feelings, chasing out death, and replacing it with life and joy and this lust for life type of thing. It's very like it's very different to the last time you were here, when you felt lots of danger and dread around you. It feels like very much this spiritual an anima that you kind of had here.
Awesome. I look around and realizing that I still have this blade on me, which I thought to at a later point donate to the fire.
Oh yeah, that's right.
The fire here is not a real fire, right?
Not really, no, but it's a representation of the fire, because the physical and spiritual are so closely knit here. It's not like, oh, a representation of heat and maybe wood, and what might this mean? It's straight up like fire, but the flames are not like red, orange flames. It's like this vibration of air that's fluttering, and it looks almost like cloth and like plants and stuff, all these sort of different reflective things, creating basically a pyre and a huge fire on top of it. But it's basically a spirit fire.
I look at, well, that might do as well. I look at North Star and say, North Star, Oxpear told me to give this to the fire.
Is that the blade that cut me?
Yes.
Good. Throw it in.
Can I do it here?
Sure.
I grab it out of the rope that's around me and hold it in my mouth and kind of walk towards the fire, and I'll lay it down in front of the fire. What does the blade look like here in the Umbra?
The blade looks pretty much the same. It's not like it's to say it like game terms, it's not a fetish item. It's just a tool. It's just a bone that's been chipped into a sharp end, that it's been dipped in molten silver. You know.
Then I'll look at it and say that it no longer needs to be a tool of destruction. It will have a new chance at it, and I'll pick it up and throw it into the fire.
As you do so, you see that there's all sorts of other like spirits around the pyre. Like you see that there's like this height, humanoid little spirits that look kind of like I don't know, gnomish, something like that, with heads and arms and legs, and they're like kick dancing there around the pyre. And once you say that, and I want to toss it to the fire, they're all like, and like it's kind of a cartoony sight, in the sense,
Mm-hmm.
but it's at the same time it's kind of this. Since it's set in Sweden, it's like around these parts, and there's a lot of folklore about these kind of spirits and these kind of
Gnomes and trolls and that sort of stuff.
yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it feels like. The spirits around dancing around the pyre. It's like it's like familiar spirits of the woods and of this island and all that are like are partying, are
Mm-hmm.
taking in with the lust for life. And yeah, you toss the dagger there, and you see that as it goes there, you see that the fire kind of almost like swallows it, and it lets out this of this immense neon green light for a little second as it kind of like swallows it into itself, and it's this very cool and illuminating sight kind of to see.
And I'll return to North Star after nodding and smiling at these little creatures dancing around the fire, and I'll run back to her and look at her and say, "Are you my mother?"
She looks down immediately. She looks kind of ashamed, but then she kind of looks up and sees you looking at her, and she lifts her head and she says, "I'm sorry I didn't tell you.
That's all right.
I thought since you grew up in the pack you grew up in, I was afraid that you, since you must have considered the regular wolf your mother, I didn't feel like it was my place um, to try and take her place in your eyes."
I
Yeah.
smile and look at her and say, "You were there when I needed you."
Mhm. I've been I've been keeping an eye on you ever since you were born. Um, that's how I said I had help. Like with most people, a spirit will help a guru guide them to a pup that's recently had its first shapeshift and change to find them. But in my case, that was not needed. I just didn't want to tell you right from the beginning that I've been keeping an eye on you because of that. And I guess I was out for a long time, so I don't know what you talked to the cuckoo bird spirit about. I don't know how much he told you.
He told me a lot, but nothing really about you, just that you're respected and kind.
Yes, see how the other gurus keep saying that I abandoned them and now I'm back, and I did abandon them. I am guilty of that
Why?
because of what you've just seen around you. Couple of years ago when I did leave this place, the tensions were extremely high between the Red Talons and the Fenrir here, the two tribes. There was constant bickering, constant intentional crossing of others' borders without permission and with intent to provoke. There was constant looming of a threat. There was constant. If one of us died, the first thought on everybody's mind was that it was done by a Red Talon to justify us attacking them, so they would have the justification to attack us. There was, and the other way around, there was constantly everyone had this air about them that they were just looking for an excuse to go into this war, and I knew it was looming in the future. I knew it was inevitable. It was. I knew it was. And when I got pregnant with you, not every child of a guru grows up to be a werewolf like us. And I cut a deal. I abandoned this community. I just left one night when you were almost due. I found the cuckoo bird spirit and I cut a deal with it where it would smuggle you into a regular wolf pack's nest, a cave, and masquerade you as one of their own. You can see that she's like shaking and her like throat is like throbbing as she's like holding back with like all of her strength, not crying as she's telling you this. And I was hoping that by keeping an eye on you, you would live a normal wolf's life in a normal wolf pack, and you would never have to come to harm's way with what was looming in the horizon for our community. But as soon as you had your first change, and I cried that night because I knew the only thing that would not be considered absolute negligence and abandonment would be to get you and teach you and bring you here. And my fears were realized as soon as we got to the border. The war had already started and had gone on for a couple of days, and in that I couldn't even protect you from the bastard Red Talon that attacked us. In fact, you had to protect me. What? It's not like when you were born or when you had your first change. I could have just walked up to you and say that, oh yeah, you're a werewolf, and by the way, I'm your mother and I abandoned you. Then she lets out as this kind of emotional defense, and she lets out a chuckle, but immediately after that she breaks down. She immediately like lowers her head and she like opens her mouth is open. She won't allow a wail or a sob or cry come out of her mouth, but it's like you can see that her throat feels like somebody's choking it with all their strength. It's like her eyes are completely like glossy and wet, and like tears are falling off of it, but she's like holding her mouth open and like she's about to break down there.
I move towards her, and I believe it's called nuzzling. I nuzzle her, like I kind of put my snout next to hers and like comfort her and try to make the pain less.
She immediately responds to that with the same, and tears are coming out of her eyes, and she, with her mouth right next to your ear, she's just reciting the same as before, as she's just, sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, please forgive me.
I look at her eyes almost similarly as I did when I came back from the Umbra, and I look at her and say, "I forgive you, Mother."
You see her head fall down, and she immediately lifts it up and starts licking your ears. Yeah, and she's kind of letting out these whimpers of this dog, like this, this kind of, she's just overtaken by emotion, and you feel like this is something that she's hold on to for a couple of years, and like she was clearly dreading coming back, and coming back with her pup. Everybody knew that she must have known she was pregnant, because she said she left while you were almost due, and like everybody seemed to have like understanding and immediate like empathy and that sort of thing towards her, because there was such an air of respect for her, and being able to pour this out to you is just it's like an overwhelming experience for her.
I play with her as well, nibbling at her and that sort of stuff, and well, I'll take my time with that.
After you've had your time there, you've spent a long enough time there together. It's she then says to you that it's time we get going. It's time we go to the near Umbra.
What's that?
I'll show you. And you see those streams streams that have been that in the spirit world you can see coming up from the island. She goes to they have like they are based on the ground. Every one of them like hits the ground at some point, and she goes to one of them and like closes her eyes and places her paw on the base of it, and you see she inhales and exhales concentrated, and you see that the stream's bottom starts to widen enough to make like the width of a bicycle path or something like that. And she steps on it, and you see that once she steps on it, her fur goes downward to basically the surface. That where she takes a few steps, and you see that she's almost vertical there, but her fur goes still like downward, like like that stream has its own gravity type of thing. Not that you really understand anything about gravity, being a wolf, but yeah, it's like it looks like you can just walk on it, even though it goes almost into like. They go like in these, they snake upwards, so it's that kind of a thing. And she turns back to you and says, "Come on, this is a moon bridge."
I'll follow her.
And once you get closer to her, she keeps walking, and the stream is getting wider, and you see that the stream spreads out into different pathways to different directions, and she says. There are multiple gardens in the world, but they just happen to be very spread out. That is why these are such sacred and important locations, because it could take us a year to travel on foot to the next garden. but these moon bridges connect them to each other. We could walk from here to another Gaian as far as a year's walk away with much greater speed. We can travel the entire globe with these moon bridges if we wish. And they also lead into different areas of the Umbra. We call the Umbra that we've already been in the Pen Umbra because it's a familiar place. It's a place that's very much a part of us. It's something that we feel internally in us. It's the Velvet Shadow, the Pen Umbra. But where we're going is called the Near Umbra. It's much nearer to the entire essence of the cosmos that we cannot, even I, even Steel Cave, cannot even begin to comprehend. The forces of the cosmos are simply forces too great for a singular mind to handle. But we can go a bit further, but not that far. The Near Umbra is a place where we can get in touch with the forces, the pure forces of the world. We can get into contact with dreams. We can get into contact with fire. We can get into contact with legends and of many different things. One of which is battle, of warfare. The realm of battlefield, as Good Death mentioned, is where we're headed. That is just like a realm that's about fire. It's purely about a single force of nature, something that's innate in us as well as in humans and in certain aspects in wolves.
But I didn't understand. Steel Cage said I wouldn't be a warrior.
That is right. But warfare is much more than just being a participant in attacking your enemies.
It is?
It is. Like Steel Cave said, or rather you, since you are born under the crescent moon, the duty of those born under the crescent moon, the duties of a thurge, as it is called in our culture, the shaman, the intermediary between spirit and physical, is to understand. You are going to the realm of combat to understand. You are going there to find the deepest meanings of warfare and of battle. You are going there to understand the spirits of war, to understand Fenris himself, the great spirit that our entire tribe owes allegiance to. You are going there to get perspective, to expand your conscious about the world around you. The war that these Red Talons took upon themselves is a war born completely out of pride, of jealousy, of ignorance, of fear, of entitlement, of all of these clouded and misguided notions. But as guardians of the balance of Gaia's creation, of death, life, spirit, flesh, all of this, we must understand it. Our rage is our greatest weapon as well as our greatest weakness. Once you understand it, once you comprehend it, once you learn its secrets, once you are tutored by spirits who are that of rage, you will become wiser of it. You will get understanding of it, and therefore you will learn ways to avoid petty wars, and you will learn to prepare for necessary and noble wars, such as those against the forces of the worm itself.
I understand.
I will stay with you here for a while, but I will at some point go away from the realm and then come back later. But between those times, Oxspear will come here and tutor you in the ways of actually honing your rage and combat. Also, Good Death will come and teach you about leadership. He will teach you about respect, loyalty, and what it means to have a community, what it means to have others look up to you and owning up to that respect that they have for you. Steel Cave will come and tutor you about spirits and about the inner meanings of everything around us. He has a mind that I even cannot comprehend. He's taught me everything I know about the spirit world, and yet it seems like I'm only a worm compared to his knowledge. He will come and tutor you personally, as will many others.
North Star,
Hmm?
what is your role in all this? Are you also a crescent moon? A
No,
third?
no, I'm actually sorry. I have to look up the. I was born under the half moon, which is the same as Good Death. I am also, my role is to guide others, is to judge and adjudicate, to understand, to empathize, to be a moral arbiter to others, to take care of others, take care of the community, to be someone others look upon as respected and reliable leader. My responsibility to my tribe consists of that, whereas your responsibility and what you owe to our community to uphold is to let others understand the world of the spirit, let others understand, be the intermediary, be the translator, be the person they can come to instead of learning all the things you will learn in time, so that they can focus on their duties. The same way people look up to me to be the one who breaks up fights, who delegates with dangerous people, who takes care of the ones with the least, with the worst lot in life.
I understand.
They call my position the Philodox.
All right.
And as you walk there around the moon bridge, it kind of becomes interesting to see the ground get smaller and smaller below you. You get this very vast bird's eye view of everything, and it's like you see these vast forests. And it's like when you go with an airplane, first few things you see as it goes up, you see that's just this vast area around you. You see the lake and the forests, and you see all the rivers, and you can see how the one river comes from the lake, and then it splits into two, and that's the two rivers that you past, and the other river which next to you made your own campfire earlier, and all that stuff. And it's really, again, something that you feel like no other creature in the entire world has this privilege uh, to be part of this whole being part literally of the entire cosmos this way. Uh, and as you walk, the moon bridge goes straight towards the giant moon in front of you, and you feel like you're walking straight at it, to the point where your peripheral vision doesn't show anything anymore. It's just the moon. It's like if you look forward, you see just white and the glowing light of it, and it's very bright. And at that point, you see that another tear is made in front of you by North Star, in just the same way, but this time the electricity is even stronger in it. It just and the electricity is just around it. And North Star looks at you and says, "Let's walk through."
All right.
And as you walk through, you feel again this very similar pushing through it. And as you're in there, you notice that you're in an area that's completely comprised of stars. The same sort of stars that you see in the sky, but these stars are kind of moving, and they're moving in the same way as, little dust pebbles in bright light, or how like mushroom spores or something like float in the air, like these star-looking dots that just kind of float around, and it's this kind of vast abyss beyond that. It's like this dark place, and the portal, the tear behind you, just closes, and she looks around and she goes, "Here it is," and she goes to one of the pebbles that's floating there, and she lowers her head with her eyes closed, and she says, whispers something that you can't make out, and she does this kind of scratching with her paw, and the first scratch touches the pebble with the claws, and immediately opens it. The same kind of tear, but this time it's not that electricity thing. It's like the blackness just kind of crumbles from around the pebble, and what you see in front of you that this hole leads to is the exact same visual thing that you had in your dream, when everything was red and black and there was just war everywhere from different cultures, from different time periods, warfare all around. And as you see there, it's this world of ginormous layers. It's like this almost like this tube, almost like a gigantic version of the sort of Colosseum-looking structure or shape that you had in the garden, but it's like completely like these levels. There's the first level, second level, third level, and then so forth, and it goes in this these levels that lead up into this pit, and it's all kind of organized. It's like there's just warfare everywhere, with this feeling of with these immense strong emotions flying through the air. Half of the fighting is done through these human-looking things. There's spirits, clear like these blood red and black spirits just going in there, and it's just this rampant like a natural element. If warfare and battle was as natural of an element as, say, carbon or something like that, this is like a raw element of that, and it's opened up there in front of you, And North Star looks up at you and says, "Well, my pup, have you thought of a name yet for yourself?"
A name? No, not really. I I never
I'm
needed one.
sure. I'm sure once you get back, everyone who has been with you here has such a strong imprint of you and of your character and of your personality and values and all of that. I am sure once the 12 moons have gone, it's clear to everyone what to call you. You know, before we step in, um, there's there's no words really how proud I am of you. As a as your mother, I've been riddled with fear about what will happen to you, what challenges you'll face in life, but having to gotten to know you for the first time with all this and seeing how you handle situations, what sort of character you've built for yourself, it's all I can say is I am immensely proud of you.
Thank you.
Shall we?
What? Will they attack us?
Not if we don't go deep enough.
All right. I follow her.
And as the kind of ending image of this prelude, it's like this. You see this black and red reality of just warfare, kind of like looking at like the intro warfare scene in Coppola's Dracula. There, you know, with the just black silhouettes, just and red sky. You see these two wolves looking at each other and side by side walking into this red and black world of pure warfare and combat, and you see this the black abyss of the near Umbra build itself up again after you've walked in, just like a reverse crumbling. This, and while you're there, in fact, all those things that have been mentioned will occur, and with everything that's happened thus far, at this point, you're free to create your actual character sheet for your character. Though, of course, there are a couple of things that I must mention that based on the stuff that happened in this prelude, there's some backgrounds that I think would be quite fitting. Like, for example, getting North Star to be your mentor. That would be one thing. The cuckoo bird is definitely an ally for you, and there's definitely pure breed in your family line that everyone respects. So we can look into those things when the character creation process or the character sheet process begins. As of course you already have the character here, but yeah, it's that's pretty much where the rest of your basically your initiation into this whole thing happens outside of this game. Basically, you're free to use your own imagination to what sort of spirits have taught what supernatural gifts to your character and all these sort of things. If the only tangible item that you have is the pelt of the buck, you know, you can give her battle scars, or she could have made like Steel Cave could have made fetish items with her in the realm of Battleground in this time, and all these sorts of things that you are free to put into your character sheet creation stuff.
Awesome.
Are we gonna? Am I gonna do this myself, or would it be fun to like do this also in a hangout that we would create my character together? I mean,
I'm open for anything. I just
Well,
you spoke about this being more like a way for people to get into the game as well. It might be fun to make a character now from
yeah.
all this.
Yeah, okay, that's a good idea. Yeah, we can definitely do that. So let's just figure out a time to get that done.
We'll
So
make a
for
new format.
yeah, so for everybody who's still with us, thank you very much for following the prelude thus far. The campaign is still, a bit far off because I still plan to run a prelude for John and for Phil. Though of course it's not automatic that who knows how long their preludes are going to be. They could be just one session or longer. You never know with these things. Because I originally thought this would have been gone through in one session, but what was I thinking? But yeah, so yeah, that's what's gonna be coming next. Either John or Phil's prelude is gonna be next up on this thing. So thanks a lot for following us on this campaign here, and yeah, well, I'll just end the broadcast right here. And
See you guys.
yeah, see ya.